Here is the Onion Week in Review Transportation Edition. In Albany, a Greyhound bus crash claimed 30 miserable lives Tuesday, finally putting over 24 deadbeat fathers, penniless drug addicts, and hapless bastards out of their misery. Emergency crews at the scene of the merciful accident described the sea of fast food bags, candy bar wrappers, and losing lottery tickets surrounding the crash site as utterly tragic, adding that the scorched corpses inside the bus were, quote, only slightly more lifeless than before the deadly accident.
Evidence suggests that most of the victims suffered during the crash, and for many years before they even boarded the bus. All I can say is, thank God no one made it.
Al-Qaeda is refusing to carry out any further terrorist attacks until the U.S. mass transportation infrastructure is drastically improved, calling the country's roads and bridges a, quote, travesty, unbecoming of a developed first world nation.
We want to turn your bridges into rubble. But if we took credit for making them collapse, no one would ever believe us.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, and of course, we're inviting you to join us here on the radio waves. Our toll-free number for you to take control of those airwaves is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, so feel free to jump on in there. And you can talk to us about whatever happens to be on your mind. We're going to start out with a little bit of entertainment-related news, but also politics at the same time. Darryl, you've got a story about Donald Trump.
Apparently not knowing how the media works.
And he's been a part of the media for some amount of time. I mean, prior to the presidency, he was the host of,
he was
shows.
a reality show TV host.
Right. So, I mean,
that's not exactly the same as understanding
the business side of things, sure.
Like how FCC licensing works.
Right. Not that many people really understand that, but okay. So what's the story here? And then we'll talk about Sacha Cohen being sued by an ex-judge.
Yeah. So this comes from Reuters, and they say on Tuesday, President Donald Trump blasted CNN and NBC News yet again in a tweet, criticizing NBC's handling of a story on movie producer Harvey Weinstein and suggesting a, quote, look at their license without specifying exactly what he was calling for. Trump has frequently criticized the news media for what he says is unfair coverage of him. In a tweet which cited the outlet's coverage of Weinstein, he posted, quote, I have long criticized NBC and their journalistic standards, worse than even CNN. Look at their license. Ronan Farrow, reporter, had said NBC News blocked him from working on a story about Weinstein, who is facing criminal rape and sexual assault charges and a civil lawsuit for sex trafficking. Former NBC producer corroborated Farrow's allegations. Farrow later published the story in the New Yorker magazine. NBC News has defended its handling of the story. Weinstein, of course, has denied ever having any non-consensual sexual intercourse. Comcast, which owns NBC, declined comment, and following the tweet, a decline in the price of Comcast shares of the NASDAQ extended slightly. The FCC did not immediately comment on the tweet, but you may recall last October, Trump posted on Twitter.
I was going to say, this sounds familiar.
Right. He posted about a year ago, posted about various fake news and suggested that he would challenge the licenses of various broadcast outlets.
Thought this sounded familiar because I was going to say, I feel like Trump's made comments like this before.
Oh, he has. At the time, last year, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai said the agency does not have the authority to revoke broadcast licenses over editorial decisions. Mm-hmm. But again, Trump is all upset about things that CNN and NBC have covered, and he wants to look at their licenses. That's what I meant when I said he doesn't understand how media works.
Well, he does this stuff a lot, right? Like, it wasn't that long ago that we were talking about Trump sort of suggesting that he was going to do something about something. I forget what it was, but he kind of like beats around the bush in a lot of ways and doesn't really come right out with, well, we're going to have that looked at. Is what he's saying. I forget. It was something regarding the media, I feel like. Right. But and so this is yet another example of that. So he's criticizing. Was it NBC?
NBC and CNN.
And CNN.
Specifically.
CNN doesn't even have any broadcast stations.
Right.
Yeah.
And NBC, as a network, does not have a license from the FCC.
That's correct. There are affiliate stations that do.
Right. The local TV stations are the ones that have licenses from the FCC, which just even further shows that Donald Trump does not understand how the media works, let alone this pesky little thing called the First Amendment.
Right.
The FCC said that the First Amendment expressly prohibits the commission from censoring broadcast matters, and that its role is in overseeing program content is very limited.
Yeah. So, I mean, the FCC does restrict broadcast content. They don't allow certain words to be said. They don't allow certain discussions to be had about, let's say, excretory functions. They don't like that very much on the air. There's a couple of things that will get your broadcast labeled obscene or indecent, and if that happens, then you could be subject to very, very large fines. So, I mean, I appreciate the FCC pushing back a little bit against Trump on this, considering that ultimately the FCC right now is basically Trump's he's in charge of it. He's been able to appoint Republicans to the FCC to the point where they have a majority on the FCC.
Not necessarily. So the way the FCC is organized, the balance has to be there. But if there's a vacancy, and let's say right now there's I think a vacancy in one of the Democratic spots, he doesn't have to necessarily fill that vacancy, but he can't fill that with a Republican.
Well, there's no...
I see what you're saying. When the commission is full, it's 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats.
I thought it was five people. Is it?
I thought it was a 6-member, but there's
people.
A vacancy currently.
I thought it was 5 people, and the current party gets the majority.
There's currently 3 Republicans, 2 Democrats.
Right, and isn't there a vacancy? I thought that it was, or maybe I'm thinking of the FEC that is always 3-3.
Yeah, there's one chairman, 4 commissioners.
Yeah,
okay.
5. So whoever's in charge
all of these alphabet agencies, they're easy to get confused.
Sure.
And
whoever wins the election gets to control the FCC. So the fact that they're pushing back against him, I think, is a good sign. I don't have a lot of good things to say about the FCC.
Right.
So there's something. But Trump pointing out here that he doesn't understand. He's trying to, he's trying to intimidate. Of course he is. Trying to act like he can do more than he can.
He's a big giant bully, and he thinks that people will just do whatever he wants because he's got money.
Now, if he wanted to, the statement from Pai, Ajit Pai, who was the chairman of the FCC from last year that you cited, says, well, we don't have the authority to do X, Y, or Z. So maybe that's a suggestion that the FCC would like the authority, or that Trump should pass.
I think you're reading a little more into it.
Well, it wouldn't likely fly, I don't think, when challenged in court. But that would be Trump's only way around this.
Nor I don't think it would even wind up going through Congress.
Probably not. But that would be his only solution here, would be to give the FCC some sort of editorial control over media, which would be a complete gutting of the First Amendment. If it were to actually pass.
Yeah, I think the ACLU would file a lawsuit before the ink were dry on whatever bill or executive order or whatever.
Is that the story? Is there more from Trump, or is that pretty much...
No, that's the story. Reuters is good about condensing stuff into, here's the facts.
Yeah, Trump,
without a lot of editorialization.
Trump would love to be, like some of his predecessors. I think it was Bush that said he wishes he were the dictator. I'm sure Trump also and Barack Obama also wish they were dictators as well. But there are
It'd be
those
nice
pesky...
if this were a dictatorship, so long as I was the dictator.
So
well, that's really the only way to get things done is to complete executive command over the sheep.
By get things done, you mean whatever authoritarian thing they want to do.
Yeah, whatever's on their mind. Yeah. So I don't care who it is, but yeah, if I was going to get things done, I'd have to be dictator. For a little while, anyways.
But there is that pesky free speech, freedom of the press thing that while it has been eroded away over the years, I mean, for instance, members of the press who attempt to protect their sources, some of them have gone to prison.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Members of the press who have simply posted a link in a chat room have gone to prison.
Yep.
So, I mean, we can tell you that the freedom of the press is not so great. I know that you've checked within the last few weeks, Darryl, and I think it was in the lower 40s. The United States was in the lower 40s of the number of the top most free
for press freedom
countries. Yeah, press
from
freedom.
Reporters Without Borders.
Moving down towards number 50. I think it was at like 47 or something like that. And they do that. Reporters Without Borders does that every single year. In the United States, again, not even in the top. Barely in the top 25%, essentially.
Yeah.
More coming up here of all the countries in the world on press freedom. More on the way
45.
Here. Sacha Cohen being sued by Roy Moore. We'll tell you about it coming up.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and of course you can bring up what you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Plus, there's our Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. Liberty.menu is a site for exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. So if you're a libertarian, if you're a voluntarist, if you're a liberty-loving anarchist, and you do a thing that you want other libertarians to know about, maybe it's running a business, maybe it's creating an event you want people to attend, maybe you're a digital content creator. All of those things, there are categories for you over on liberty.menu, which is basically a libertarian business directory at its core. And it does a very good job of doing what it does, which is to say connecting libertarians with people who might be offering services or products that they're interested in. Go to liberty.menu and you can create your entries for free. There's no cost to you except for whatever time it takes to go over to liberty.menu and add yourself to the map. Or add more than one thing to the map. Maybe you got a few different irons in the fire. You can put them all up there over at liberty.menu. And again, it is free. There are some upgrades available for those of you that want to promote your stuff above and beyond the others. But beyond that, it's free to use. So go check it out and get started at liberty.menu. We've been talking about Donald Trump making some very ignorant statements and trying to rattle the saber against the news media once again.
Right.
Now, I don't mind the fact that Donald Trump has this sort of relationship that he has with the media where he's not particularly friendly towards them. I find that to be entertaining.
Extremely.
But on the other hand, to suggest that he should do something to their licenses because they say things he doesn't like crosses a line for me.
Yes.
I also enjoy the fact that the media is actually, in a way, doing their job. They're not really, because all they do is pretty much report Twitter feed and
they report on all his tweets
and very sensational stories. I mean, so they're really sucking at it, but at the same time,
there is a lot of lazy reporting. Yes.
Correct, yeah. But I mean, at least they're giving this guy a hard time.
That's true.
Like in previous years, not so much.
That's true.
So it's almost like it's not.
They're made for each other.
It's not RT. Yeah. Where they're bashing on the American government every day, but it's a little better. It's a little better.
So again, Trump making statements that suggest he doesn't really know what he's talking about when it comes to licensing of media, suggesting that NBC's license should be looked at regarding some controversy that they, some sort of topic that he was upset about. I forget.
In his defense, I think that this is typical Trump. He's trying to create the meme, and that is he's throwing this idea out there that these guys have licenses and we need to check them. Mm-hmm. I think he knows how it works, but do his listeners, do his supporters understand how it works? So if he can throw this out there, he can throw the idea out there.
What do you think he's trying to accomplish with that?
Well, I mean,
to get people to support
obviously these guys are giving him a hard time, and if in his it would benefit him if he had more control over what they're allowed to say.
Well, of course. I mean, as many dictators have
correct
total control.
And that's what I'm saying. He is he's a friendly dictator to his base.
What?
To his base.
To his base. Okay. I mean,
every dictator's friendly to their base.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Yes, you're absolutely right. And someone's going to be eventually getting trucked off in the cattle cars, and
yes, and that's everybody that's not the base,
right?
So, I'm not saying that's not right around the corner. I'm just saying, I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I don't know what you're saying either.
I think
you're just being such a conspiracy contrarian that you're making things up on the fly.
No, I'm not making anything up. I think he knows what he's doing.
You don't even know what you're saying anymore.
I think he knows what he's doing.
You think he's trying to get his base to support restrictions on media?
Correct.
Well, that would be a huge mistake because ultimately, as long as Trump leaves office, somebody else is going to go in his place.
And that's how all of this works. Every other dictator
and they're going to
has the powers that were passed in the previous years.
But people are so short-sighted that when George Bush was doing things, nobody thought, well, maybe a Democrat will wind up controlling things in 4, 6, 8 years.
It's time to start thinking about that.
And then when Barack Obama was doing things, nobody thought, oh, maybe a Republican will be doing.
We pointed it out here.
And now, here we are, the gnashing and the wailing and the tears.
All the people that were, just like full bore behind whatever horrible thing Obama wanted to do.
Right. Like the anti-war
They
movement.
weren't thinking that, there might be a Republican doing whatever.
Well, time to wake up and start thinking that, because that's how it works, where, as you pointed out, Conan, every new president gets all the aggregated powers that were, ginned up for him during the previous president.
Right.
And it just keeps getting worse and worse over time. I know that there's this narrative out there that Trump's somehow doing something for making the government smaller, but I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. The government isn't getting smaller. They're getting more money in than they ever have. I believe the tax receipts were record levels this year. And, of course, the typical claim is, well, that's because he's cutting back government. People are making more money. What are you talking about?
Well, we might, if we have time later in the evening, we might talk about Trump and his attack on the federal employees and their wages. I think he's freezing them again. Obama was freezing as well.
Them? Well, don't you have a story about wage comparisons?
Comparisons to the private sector, yeah.
Right. So to be frozen at a very, very high level above everybody else isn't exactly a punishment.
No.
So again, Trump's constantly patting himself on the back, and all of his sycophants are as well, as though he's so significantly different than his predecessors. Is he more opinionated? Is he more entertaining? Yes. Is he actually doing things to make the government smaller? I'd say the jury's out on that.
Doesn't appear that he is.
Yeah, it doesn't look that way.
There's $1.2 billion worth of temporary emergency aid being given to farmers that are being hurt by Trump's tariffs. Because all of the retaliatory tariffs.
They're subsidizing the farmers after the fact that tariffs have damaged them?
These are the golden crutches.
So here's what happened. Trump wound up putting tariffs on imports from China and several other countries, knowing that these countries said, if you put tariffs on us, we're going to retaliate with our own tariffs on your products. Trump says, I don't care. I'm a big bad bully. And went ahead with the tariffs, and so all of these other countries wound up doing retaliatory tariffs on the U.S., and now a bunch of farmers are saying, we can't sell our stuff in these other countries. We need money. And Trump says, okay, here's $1.2 billion of subsidies.
Wow. Which, of course, as we've seen over and over again, these farm subsidies only distort the marketplace. They encourage and require, in many cases, these corporate farmers,
as do the tariffs,
to grow things that they otherwise wouldn't grow. To grow too much, to grow too much of a thing.
We should be buying all our sugar from South America, and yet what are we doing? We're high fructose corn syrup is cheaper because it's subsidized by the government,
and because sugar's been taxed for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Imported sugar.
There's a tariff on South American sugar.
There's more coming up here. If you want to share your thoughts, you can join us. Former Judge Roy Moore is back in the news. He's suing Sacha Baron Cohen, the man behind the new Showtime series, Who is America? There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
This is novelist Tom Robbins. When my mother was diagnosed with glaucoma, her conservative Virginia physician told her there was only one treatment that might ease her pain and save her eyesight. That treatment was medical marijuana, which he could not prescribe. I offered to get her some and teach her how to use it effectively, but my father objected because marijuana was against the law. So my mother, who loved to read and walk in nature, was condemned to grow cruelly, unnecessarily blind. Tragedies like this happen all the time, but they don't have to keep happening. To learn more about medical marijuana, call the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us here. If you want, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. And with you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Anypay.global is the website to go to if you want to have cryptocurrency accepted at your point of sale. You're involved in retail, you got a storefront, maybe you're the manager or the owner. and you've been looking for a solution to accept cryptocurrency, well, this is it. You go to anypay.global. If you've already got a tablet at your point of sale, you're halfway there. It is super easy to get started. Username, password, you create that, you're in. There's no approval process. There's no paperwork. There's no government involved in this. You just get in to the site. You put in your personal cryptocurrency wallet addresses as your destinations where you want the crypto to go to in the back end of the site, and that's it. You then load the app up on the tablet, and you're good to go. So it's that easy to accept Bitcoin, Dash, Zcash, and others through anypay.global. Anypay.global. As we continue here, Darryl, you've got a major correction, a minor but major correction.
Oh, yeah, I was off by a factor of 10.
Just an extra zero on what number?
The amount of money going to farm bailouts to help the farmers impacted by tariffs. So it's $12 billion, not $1.2 billion.
The tariffs that Donald Trump basically put on these farmers in the first place.
On Chinese
technically,
goods.
So, right. Trump put tariffs on imports from a variety of countries. These countries all matched those tariffs with tariffs of their own.
Right, that's what happens when you use force.
Had Trump not put tariffs on other countries, they would not have put these, what are being referred to as retaliatory tariffs. Story from UPI from last week. Last Monday, Sonny Perdue, who's the Secretary of Agriculture, announced that the first $6 billion of $12 billion in aid was being released. The soybean industry, which was hit the hardest by tariffs, will get the bulk of the initial relief package, totaling $3.6 billion. Pork industry to receive $290 million. Cotton industry to get $276 million. The wheat, sorghum, and dairy industries are slated to receive more than $100 million, and another $1.2 billion will be used to purchase commodities such as apples, pork, dairy, and a variety of other products.
The government's going to buy commodities?
Oh, they do this all the time.
Okay.
Oh, we have to make sure that the prices stay in this certain range because reasons, and otherwise farmers won't make any money. So we will just buy excess of things and then we throw it in the ocean.
You know, I think it's important to note, I'm reading a CBS News article that they report that the soybean industry has been in a 10-year low. And by the way, it seems like a third of soybeans are actually being sold to China, and that was shocking to me. I didn't realize. I mean, you think soy, you think Asian.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're actually shipping that much to them was surprising. But they might have, over the last decade, they might be catching on, doing a lot more growing themselves. So this, I don't know. It looks like corn and soy have already been in a decade's low.
All right.
Before these tariffs went into place. So now it's really bad.
The article here, skipping down past several quotes from various people, says with farmers' income down nearly 7% this year, and at the lowest point since 2006. The aid announcement was welcomed by many farm lobbying groups.
Well, okay, let me play devil's advocate here and see what you guys have to say about this.
Okay,
Look,
Dad.
We need to have
who, by the way, loves
farms.
tariffs.
We need to have these farm subsidies. I mean, look. Some businesses are more important than others. And the fact is, while you may not need Nike shoes, you need to eat. And so having farm subsidies to keep our farmers alive, to keep them healthy, to keep them continuing to crank out crops so people in the United States can be fed, this is very important. And, you know, how dare you...
Hold on. These subsidies don't make sure that people stay fed. These subsidies manipulate the prices of various things because it either encourages people to grow a certain thing or it discourages them from growing other things that people might want. So you're just manipulating the prices.
Like actual food as opposed to soy and corn.
Here, let's grow a bunch of corn so that it can then be turned into fuel and added into gasoline.
Which is totally pointless from what I understand.
It is totally pointless.
Not to mention this bailout money is coming from somewhere. So the money is having
it's
to be
either being printed or taxed.
Yeah, it's having to be removed from the economy in another sector,
right?
Which could be used for something. This is broken window fallacy right here. This is money that could be spent to better our lives in other ways.
Yeah, but you can't better your life in another way if you're starving to death. We need to have food. And this is going to help. I know what you guys are saying, that some people are going to grow whatever, but the fact is they need to grow something, and if they're having a tough time, then it's better they be growing something and making some money so people
These farmers were growing food anyways.
Yeah,
now they're just changing what they're growing based on the whims of some politician.
And what you're saying, Ian, is that if they disappeared this year, they might not be available next year when we do need them. So we've got to keep them in business. We got to keep them afloat this year. Otherwise, I mean, it could be hell to pay in the next 10 years when all of our corn farmers have disappeared, and now the only one growing corn any longer is Canada and Mexico.
So I don't really have much else I can say on that because you guys are right. They are distorting the marketplace, and the fact is, for a long time, farmers have had ways of dealing with things like droughts and market shifts or whatever. Is if you have a surplus built up, well, then you can weather some difficult times, right? And there are ways to handle that. There's also insurance that I believe that you can buy on crops and things like that.
I mean, as opposed to like taking all your cranberries and just filling ditches with them because you grew too many this year.
Well.
Which is a whole nother story, yeah. But that was more the cranberry union. It's like they can only grow so much, and then if they go overboard, sorry, bruh, you can't. You're going to mess the market up. You're going to mess it up for all of us.
Right, because if they sell them, then the price goes down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. And if the price goes down, then nobody makes any money. Is the theory.
Well, then if you're not making money, stop selling it, right?
Or grow something else in the place of those cranberries.
It's business. I mean, look. Running a farm is a business.
Right.
And like other businesses, there are risks involved. And some of those risks include not just bad weather, but also competition, unexpected competition, supplies hitting the market that you weren't expecting, and you having to drop your price in order to move your product, in order to get your inventory out rather than having it spoil, because obviously with farm products, there's a very limited shelf life. So time is of the essence.
Right. And then there's also, this very strange belief by some people that I don't completely understand is, well, without these farm subsidies, everybody would just be growing the same thing.
Huh?
Here's what I hear.
Oh, you've never heard that theory? Yeah, so we need to have the Department of Agriculture giving farm subsidies to people. Otherwise, everybody would be growing corn and potatoes.
Because those are the most profitable or something? Is that the claim?
Not after
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, not after the first year. Not if everyone's growing corn.
Yeah, because if everybody's growing it, then the profit margins go down to zero.
This is the argument I hear from a lot of conservatives. It's all about keeping the jobs and the farms, the manufacturing, all of that in the country.
But farm jobs barely even exist anymore because of automation, right? Like you can go and...
they exist. It's just there's not a whole lot of employees working them because, it's all automated.
Right. You get these big old tractors or whatever, these harvesters that are just harvesting huge swaths of farm.
Well, there's still a lot of things that need to be manually to be manually picked.
Although I just saw a story about I think it was a strawberry picker or a cherry picker. There was some sort of device that's being worked on to essentially replace a human picker.
They took my jobs!
Yeah. There's more coming up here. Your calls, your thoughts. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Maybe you want to talk about farm subsidies. You want to defend them? You're on the side of this $12 billion this bailout. It's a farm bailout.
Yeah,
this is
bailout.
This is Trump's first bailout, like Obama and Bush before him. More coming up here on Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save AT Purse.com. ShowTime.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You sit at a desk. They sit at a desk. You have sales reports. They have book reports. You need supplies. They need supplies. In many ways, business is a lot like school. That's why your small business should take advantage of back-to-school deals available now at Staples. Like this week, buy one ream of Staples brand copied paper and get a second one absolutely free. Make back-to-school your business right now at your local Staples store.
While supplies last. Offer ends 9/8/18. In-store only.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. We've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. Our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days. Then, if rates go up, your rate stays locked. But if rates go down, your rate drops. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can also join us on our on-air call-in lines on the Discord server. Just go to discord.lrn.fm. You do need to have the Discord app installed in order to use those call-in line rooms, and then you will sound like you're sitting here in the studio with us. It's a big upgrade to your sound quality. If you've ever been on the phone, you're probably 10 times better sounding when you're on Discord. So go and get the Discord app at discordapp.com, and then once you have that installed and your username and password all set up, then just click on discord.lrn.fm. Just punch that into your browser, and it'll automatically kick you right on over into our Discord server in the Discord app. And then just join one of those top 3 channels in there. We'll get you on the air. It's Ian, Conan, and Darryl in the studio here tonight. Was there more to say on the farm subsidies? The $12 billion.
Oh, I'm sure we could always
subsidies.
say something about farm subsidies, but no, there was nothing else to that story.
Right. So the general summary, I would say, of the sentiment in the room here is let farms live and die just like the rest of business in the United States, and no business should get a subsidy from the government. Nobody's business is that important, and it also hurts the rest of us when that happens because, again, it distorts the marketplace and distorts prices and signals.
And that includes charities and nonprofits.
Correct. Absolutely.
Which you say that, and by the way, I got in trouble last week for telling one of our local radio hosts here in Keene, telling him that subsidizing the charities here in the area was not so great when you look at the long term. And he about fell out of his chair. He could not believe he could not believe how cold-hearted I was to suggest something like that. And immediately it was, well, why do you hate old people?
You're right.
Why do you hate the kids? Why do you hate poor people?
This is a problem that the libertarians have, and a lot of it is because they don't communicate very effectively. They don't communicate compassion very effectively when they're talking about, well, we just need to cut. Right? That's all it sounds like to somebody who sees a donation from the government, from the state or from the city to a local homeless shelter or to a local food bank or something like that.
Well, in this case, Conan was calling in about this local rapid transit thing that they call the friendly bus that isn't really even
charity.
Transit.
Well, that's and this is the problem. Everyone believes that it's a charity. They believe that it's funded through the community and through local donations.
But it's not.
And I was just trying to get to the bottom of the fact that no, it is in fact 80% funded through the taxpayers. And as soon as I said that, it's like, well, why do you hate old people? And it's like, no. I'm just trying to make a point that, hey, what?
Did you have a chance to make that point, or did he hang up on you?
I did not. I got hung up on. Right. First time in a long time.
So
but my whole point is...
That feeds the narrative. You didn't even have a chance to say what it really was, or to really make a point on that. You just got cut off and accused. You never got to say, oh, yeah, I do care about old people, but I think we should help them voluntarily rather than forcing people to support.
Correct. And I also care about the young people who are paying into this system that's not going to exist for them. This system is not going to be available to me the way that I see it, the way that I see Social Security, where it's going, and Medicare, where it's going, and all the government pensions, where it's going. These programs aren't going to be available. I've been paying them to my whole life. They're not charity. They're actually subsidized through public pay, and I'm not going to have the benefit of being able to utilize them. Neither of us.
Yeah, I don't expect to, and I don't pay into them anyway.
But yeah, voluntary is the better way. Whenever it comes from you, when you could sit there and you could sit down with the guy who's actually being charitable and giving of himself to you, that's when charity actually works. But when it becomes from higher up, when it comes from big brother government, it's not a charity anymore. It's an entitlement.
Yeah, that's an expectation. They feel like they deserve it, that they should continue to get the same level of funding.
The stupid bus system here in Keene is no longer. It might have been a charity 10 years ago. It might have been. It might have been a great idea that was funded through donations through the community. People donating themselves.
Is that actually the history of it, or are you speculating?
I'm speculating.
So I just pulled up info on both the Friendly Bus and the City Express, which is the public transit. Not the same. Asterisk. They're both run by the Rotary Club as a division of the Home Healthcare, Hospice, and Community Services. So it's a government-run thing that's overseen by the Rotary.
So it's
basically
80%. Conan, you said the woman that you were cornering on the air admitted it was 80% taxpayer funded?
80% of her budget was through grants, federal grants, state grants, and through city budget. 80%. That is not.
That's a mess.
2 seconds before this, she was saying how we are self-sufficient. And I'm sorry, that is not self-sufficiency. Well, and one day you're going to run out of money. One day, lady, you're going to run out of other people's money to spend, and all the people who have come to depend on your services are going to be out of luck because there's not going to be anything available.
Well, something will pick up the slack.
Actual charity. Actually, me, driving my old neighbor around or something.
Right. Yeah. So the Friendly Bus is quoted here, or not quoted, but the description is door-to-door assisted transportation for seniors and individuals with disabilities who cannot access public transportation. And then the public transportation in Keene is this City Express that is also run by the Rotary Club. Both of them are run by the Rotary Club through a government program.
And this is just one entity. Because out of all the growth that we're getting, this is not just Keene, this is everywhere. But you talk to the mayor and he's all happy about all the economic growth that's going on here in this area. Guess what it is?
There's growth going on here?
Yeah, it's all nonprofits.
Oh, really?
It's all nonprofits. These people, they're not going to be paying into the system. They might be, they might pay a little fire service, a little police service, but other than that, no, they are not participating, and that's not growth in my. And what are they doing? They're being built. They're growing to actually help the need that is. And there's some people who do need. I like that. But why do they need? Because of the burdensome government that is taxing a lot of people right out of their houses.
Sure are. So you're welcome to comment on government subsidy if you want. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Coming up, I've got the video of Roy Moore, the former judge from, Darryl, your home state of Alabama.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Wasn't he was he a federal judge or was he a state Supreme Court?
He was twice on the state Supreme Court, and I believe he was twice impeached.
Wow.
He was also a local judge in Etowah County, I believe.
He had to work his way up through the ranks.
He wound up running for governor and U.S. Senate a couple of times.
And didn't he fail at his most recent run for, was it Senate?
Yes.
Yeah. Despite having Trump endorsing him.
Yeah, and that was in a special election, and a Democrat actually wound up winning.
WashingtonExaminer.com reporting that Roy Moore is now suing Sacha Baron Cohen for defamation after falling for one of the British comedian's pranks for his Showtime series, Who is America? In a court filing with the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia this week, Moore said he was duped by Cohen with an all-expense-paid trip to Washington, D.C. to accept a non-existent award at an event in February, purportedly to commemorate Moore's support of Israel for its 70th anniversary. Moore also took part in an interview with Cohen disguised as fake Israeli anti-terrorism expert General Eran Morad, a segment which appeared on Cohen's show. In his filing, Moore says Cohen, quote, falsely painted, portrayed, mocked, and with malice defamed Judge Moore as a sex offender, which he is not. In the episode, which aired earlier this summer, Cohen takes out a wand that he claims is a tool law enforcement can use to detect pedophiles. And, of course, it beeps every time Cohen waves it over Moore. Moore, a former judge, lost the 2017 special election, as Darryl just mentioned, to replace Attorney General Jeff Sessions in Alabama in the Senate, following a string of sexual misconduct allegations, including allegations that he initiated a sexual encounter with a 14-year-old young lady when he was in his 30s. Moore, who is suing, along with his wife Kayla, issuing the lawsuit against Cohen along with Showtime and CBS. Showtime is a subsidiary of CBS Corporation. Quote, as a direct and proximate result of defendants and their agents' extreme, outrageous, and malicious defamatory conduct set forth above, Judge Moore has been the subject of widespread ridicule and humiliation and has suffered severe loss of reputation, which has in turn also caused him, Mrs. Moore, and his entire family severe emotional distress and pain and financial damage, especially given his status as a prominent conservative and a God-fearing person of faith, says the filing.
Is this what a God-fearing person would do?
Sue somebody over what they said?
Over something silly like this.
Now, it says here that Judge Moore has been the subject of widespread ridicule and humiliation and has suffered severe loss of reputation. Oh, really? All that happened after the Who is America episode? That didn't happen beforehand with all the news media coverage of all the allegations against him?
Scapegoating.
Yeah, so we'll come back with this. Plus, I've got the clip. We can play it here on the air from the official Showtime YouTube channel. Or come on.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body. Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay, or call us 253-678-1361.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Silver's trading at $14.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,195 per ounce. Zen is trading at $18, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,018. Antiwar.com reports on a visit Tuesday with U.S. Special Representative for Syria James Jeffrey. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar demanded that all Kurdish militant factions leave Syria immediately and permanently. This is roughly in keeping with Turkey's general hostility towards Kurds in general and the YPG in particular. They have never before explicitly called for the Kurdish factions to abandon Syria entirely, however, and it's not clear where they'd conceivably go. The timing is also strange, as Turkish officials have been exclusively focused on the Idlib province lately, not the Kurds, and the meeting with Jeffrey was supposed to be a chance for Turkey to push the U.S. to intervene in Idlib to save Turkish-backed rebels. Turkey has been pushing for the U.S. to distance itself from the Kurds, especially the YPG, throughout the Syrian war. With the YPG controlling substantially all of Syria's northeast, there is no realistic possibility they'll leave the country outright. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the FBI recovered a pair of ruby slippers worn in the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz after they were stolen from a Minnesota museum. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Justice said the slippers were recovered as part of a sting operation in Minneapolis earlier this summer after an attempt to defraud and extort the Markel Corporation, which owns the slippers. Jill Sanborn, special agent in charge of the Minneapolis division of the FBI, said, "At the heart of nearly every art crime, we see greed woven into the fabric of the scheme. Greed to take it and greed to profit from its return. Dorothy's slippers are a treasured piece of Americana, and we are hoping members of the public can help us better fill in the details that will finish the script of this mystery so we can hold accountable those who were behind the scheme." The DOJ said the slippers are one of 4 known existing pairs worn by actress Judy Garland in the film and hold an estimated value of millions of dollars if sold at auction. The pair recovered by the FBI were known as the Traveling Pair and were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids in 2005. They weren't located until 2017 when the Grand Rapids Police Department reached out to the FBI for assistance when a plot to extort the Markel Corporation emerged. After the slippers were recovered in July, the FBI brought them to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., where conservators examined them to confirm their authenticity. The FBI has identified suspects, and investigators have called on the public for assistance identifying all parties involved in the initial theft and extortion attempt. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports President Donald Trump blasted CNN and NBC News yet again in a tweet on Tuesday, criticizing NBC's handling of a story on movie producer Harvey Weinstein and suggesting a look at their license without specifying exactly what he was calling for. Trump has frequently criticized the U.S. news media for what he has said is unfair coverage of him. He wrote in the tweet, which cited the outlet's coverage of Weinstein, "I have long criticized NBC and their journalistic standards worse than even CNN. Look at their license." Ronan Farrow, a reporter, had said NBC News blocked him from working on a story about Weinstein, who is facing criminal rape and sexual assault charges and a civil lawsuit for sex trafficking. A former NBC producer corroborated Farrow's allegations. Farrow later published a story in the New Yorker magazine. NBC has defended its handling of the story. Trump blasted NBC and other TV networks last October, calling their news fake and suggesting he would challenge their licenses. The FCC did not immediately comment on the tweet, but in October, the FCC's chairman said the agency does not have authority to revoke broadcast licenses over editorial decisions. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
If you're the parent of a man-child, you know how frustrating it can sometimes be. The piercing sound of his video games waking you up at 2 in the morning. His insatiable hunger and inability to cook anything for himself. The messes he makes. The stress can be overwhelming.
Something will set them off, such as their man-child will tell them that they don't know how to tie a tie even though they're almost 30. They'll start shaking them and yelling and saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? Why don't you get a real job instead of working part-time at a board game store?"
The results of shaken man-child syndrome are devastating. Trauma caused by the brain colliding with the inside of the man-child's skull can lead to cognitive disabilities, making it even more unlikely he'll finally marry the girl he's been having a long-distance online relationship with for 6 years, or it can even lead to death.
He's not spilling cereal all over the couch or leaving his beard clippings in the bathroom sink intentionally. He truly does not know what he's doing.
For the Lab Report, I'm Stuart Adams.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program. As always, you can take control of these airwaves here. Our number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. Also, there's the Discord on-air call-in lines, which are open and available to you. Just go to discord.lrn.fm and hop into one of those top 3 rooms. We'll get on the air with you, and you can sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us, including me, Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
We're going to get to more about the Sacha Baron Cohen show, which I've been raving about here on the air. In fact, I've got a really great kind of summary of why the show is so great. I think Slate.com did a really excellent job of pointing that out. But first, the news about Cohen is he and Showtime and CBS are being sued, because Showtime is part of CBS, but they're all being sued over an encounter between Sacha Cohen as one of his characters, Colonel Erhan Morad, and
who was not in the Mossad,
and Roy Moore, who was in a gang. Roy Moore was, of course, in the Alabama state government as a judge and other political positions.
Right, and I want to correct something. I said that he was twice impeached. He was twice removed from office.
That's more serious than impeachment, right?
Yeah, and I think technically it was not an impeachment. The second time he was suspended and then resigned before actually being removed.
Does impeachment always result in removal? It doesn't, right?
It does not.
It's more of like a political thing. We've impeached you.
So it's suspension from office. It's all political stuff, but basically he was twice removed from office for basically violating federal court orders.
So we've got the clip here from the show Who is America. We can play that here in a moment. But first, let's go to the phones to the phone. We got Chris in Ohio watching us on our Twitch feed at twitch.lrn.fm, which is our video feed in HD quality. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, fellas, how are you? Excited to be on with the three, just a couple boys hanging out. I'm curious. Why is the one fella? I got my shirt off as well. Why is the one fella got his shirt still on?
I think
because
that's you,
I feel like wearing a shirt.
But I mean, everybody's got its shirts off, man. It's shirts off.
Daryl's way more jacked than Daryl's way more jacked than me and Conan. So like maybe he's just being coy. I don't know. Modest, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're jacked, prove it. I mean, we're shirts off.
He doesn't have
today,
to prove
obviously.
anything. He doesn't have to prove anything to you. I see him going to the gym every single day, but what are you going to pay him to take his shirt off? I guess that would be the most important question, because Darryl, I'm sure, has a price. Like, there's got to be a number at which Darryl will just take that thing off.
Prostitute it up, man.
Now, I don't know if that's legal in Twitch land for that to actually happen, because Twitch has a bunch of silly rules about what you can and can't do.
I don't know, but I will say this, and thank you for the call.
Chris.
So, Ian, as you're aware, and Conan, you're aware, I used to be a very big guy.
You used to be more than twice your current size.
Not quite twice.
It seems
fairly
like it,
close.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of excess skin.
Okay.
So, like, I've got some, body issues, basically.
Gotcha.
If I were to get the excess skin removed, then probably.
No problem.
But, that's not a cheap surgery.
I bet it's not. And does it ever just tighten up over time if you work out enough, or is it something you just kind of have to live with?
If I were not a 40-year-old man and had not been heavy for basically all of my adult life, then
maybe
it might tighten up. But just based on the age that I am and how long I was obese, it's not going to.
Well, you could show both of us down as far as any kind of weightlifting or whatever other athletic thing you're always
running, and I'm a runner myself, and you could probably run me into the ground.
Yeah, he's going to marathons all the time.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can support Darryl in his upcoming New York marathon.
Coming up in 60 days.
Yep, that's big. That's going to be here very, very soon. And how's the fundraising going? You've reached your goal, I presume.
I have reached the goal. I'm actually over the goal.
Which was $5,000?
$3,500 was the minimum for securing a spot on the team.
Raised.
I want to bring in $5,000. I'm at $4,500 right now.
All right.
So I would like to bring in another $500 over the next 60 days.
That's doable. Now, what's the URL?
Run.freetalklive.com.
And that's where people can donate with what?
That's where people can donate with credit card. If you want to send a check, then I think the contact info for the Innocence Project is on there. And then just in the memo line, put Darryl Perry.
Okay, and it'll get to you.
And then that winds up, giving me credit for the funds.
So you're going, regardless. You're going to New York City. You're going to be on the Innocence Project's team.
Yes.
And for those that don't know, that's a legal organization that funds defense for people who have been wrongfully convicted.
Right, and I've actually got a quiz that they put out that I want to get into in just a little bit.
Let's do it now. I mean, since we're on this, on the subject, we can play Sacha Cohen here a little bit later. But
so this quiz, and I just got the email earlier, and I've actually taken this quiz prior, but since it came in just before the show, I popped it open. Oh, I remember this quiz. I want Ian and Conan to take this quiz live on the air.
Okay, and our listeners could take it at home, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
do we need a pen and paper? Or
you don't need a pen and paper.
No.
I will click the answers here. So basically,
what if we disagree on the answer?
Come up with a consensus of what you think the answer is.
All right. And this is about wrongful convictions?
This is specifically about prosecutorial misconduct.
Okay. There's no shortage of that out
there is no shortage.
And this is like our opinion on certain matters, or this is actually our history?
Well, we'll find out.
I'll explain. But throughout, the entirety of the United States of America, there has only ever been one prosecutor who has served time in jail for prosecutorial misconduct.
Yeah.
Question number 1, and there's 8 questions here. Question number 1, prosecutorial misconduct is defined as conduct by a prosecutor that intentionally violates a defendant's rights. True or false?
Intentionally violates their human rights?
Whose definition?
The defendant's rights.
I mean, what definition are we talking about? Is this a legal definition? Is this...
This is a legal
definition?
Legal definition of prosecutorial misconduct.
I'm going to guess that prosecutorial misconduct doesn't even require intention, but I don't know.
So you say false.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with true as well. I'm going to go with true.
All right, now we got a problem because we've got different answers.
You do have different answers.
I guess I'll switch my answer to Conan.
The reason I'm saying true because I believe that they're to be held to a higher standard, but it doesn't necessarily take place when you get down to the nitty-gritty.
Right.
They slip through the cracks. But yeah, I think that they should be held to the higher standard like that definition said that they should be.
All right, well, I'm going to mark down that I said false, and you can just go with Conan's answer, I guess.
So I clicked true, and...
Oh, it gives you it right then? It's not at the end?
Correct.
Oh, okay, well, that's easier.
Yeah, it tells you right away. The correct answer is false. Prosecutorial misconduct, as defined by courts, includes any conduct by a prosecutor that violates a defendant's rights, regardless of whether that conduct was known or should have been known
to
be improper by the prosecutor, or whether the prosecutor intended to violate legal requirements. That's why every court finding of misconduct does not merit disciplinary action. Next question. And this is a multiple choice. What's the most common form of prosecutorial error found by the courts in the 660 confirmed cases of misconduct examined? Failure to disclose exculpatory evidence, violation of a defendant's right not to testify, improper arguments, improper witness examination, or improper exclusion of a potential juror on the basis of race or gender.
Okay, these are... misconduct where they found there was absolutely misconduct. However, none of these people were actually prosecuted for it.
Right. So there's several options here. What was the most common form?
Withholding exculpatory evidence.
That was number one, right?
Number one.
I'm going to agree with that one as well.
And
withholding evidence.
Clicking that. Not sure why. There we go. It says incorrect. Improper argument was the most common error found by the courts, but it was the least likely to lead to a reversal.
More coming up here in moments. Your calls and thoughts. How many of them are there? 10?
8.
8 questions. All right, so we got more to come on the Innocence Project's pop quiz on prosecutorial misconduct.
Not doing so well.
Pop quiz, hotshot. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. Wait, what movie was that? It was a movie reference. 1990s. We're coming up.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com with just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Are you about to meet the media? If you're about to be interviewed, do their homework for them. Know this about the person who will interview you. He or she is busy, so expect minimal, if any, preparation. He or she doesn't know as much about your topic as you do. He or she isn't as concerned as you are about getting your message out, so you need to take responsibility. Provide a biography and fact sheet, photographs, or other materials that tell your story. Reporters won't be put off if you supply frequently asked questions. Remember, Public Speaking 101, at the end of the speech, what's the one thing you want them to remember? You can download the document I supply to reporters who interview me and squirm through a video that demonstrates how not to conduct your media interview at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want here. Our number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, where we're going to go here in a little bit to take your calls, because you sound better when you're on the Discord call-in rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And I do want to make sure you know about Bitcoin.com. You want to get the basics on the world of cryptocurrency. That's a good place to get started. Easy website to remember as well. Bitcoin.com. Just go there. And you can learn about Bitcoin and, where it all came from, which is, back in 2009 when it all got started. Bitcoin.com is a great place to go and get started on that. If you're old school, though, and you want to get the latest news headlines, they got those, too, over at their news website, which is news.bitcoin.com. That's news.bitcoin.com. With you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Darryl, we're going to continue with this quiz, and then we'll get to your calls here. We got 8 questions. We've been through 2. I got the first one right.
Yes.
Conan got the first one wrong. We both got the second question wrong, which was, and it's a quiz about prosecutorial misconduct coming from the Innocence Project.
Right.
And the second question was, what is the most common form of prosecutorial misconduct, at least in the issues in which it was identified and confirmed?
Right. Based on the 660 cases that they have been able to find of prosecutorial misconduct. Third question, prosecutorial misconduct was acknowledged often in which type of case? Murder, drug trafficking, sexual assault, or robbery?
Murder, sexual assault, robbery,
or drug trafficking.
I'm going to go with drug trafficking.
And by the way, could we go back to 2 in a second?
I'm not able to flip back to the question.
My question was, so it was bringing up the wrong argument, or using the wrong argument in there.
That was the supposed claim.
Could you use that as an example? How does that work?
Well, that's a legal thing, right? Like that's the
right,
judge
improper argument.
The judge saying you screwed up this case because you did a wrong. You made the wrong legal argument against this person or something.
I guess
like
that makes sense. Yeah, drug trafficking for number 3.
Incorrect. Murder and
Robbery.
sexual assault cases, 35 and 14% respectively. Violent crime made up the bulk with about 75%. However, violent crimes were less likely to lead to reversals than nonviolent crimes. Next
Probably
question.
because it's more likely that they actually happened versus another type of crime could be fought. And violent crime... I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
And remember, this is only of the 600-plus cases in which they were, accused.
Where they've confirmed that there was prosecutorial misconduct.
I don't want to say convicted because, as you said, there's only one of those cases of the 600-something that were actually
led to
convicted.
No, not convicted. There's only one that led to any jail time. So there have been a few people that have been convicted.
But slapped on the hand.
Slap on the wrist.
Okay.
You lose your license for a week.
Naughty boy.
You get community service, but there's only ever been one person that has ever gone to jail, and that was only a 10-day sentence.
Yeah, because there's plenty of cases where, government agents have withheld exculpatory evidence and never been caught for it. And never been...
And a lot of the times, and it mentions about things that led to reversal, some of these, they're not incredibly long sentences. So by the time you figure out and make the argument, your sentence is over. Whereas with people that are on, either death row or serving life in prison, they have a lot longer to try fighting all of these cases to actually put forth the effort to get an overturn. Question number 4. Out of the 660 confirmed cases of prosecutorial misconduct, and again, I don't think I mentioned what states these are limited to: California, Arizona, Pennsylvania, New York, and Texas, from 2004 through 2008, how many prosecutors were disciplined?
So wait a minute. These 600-something cases is only out of a handful of states and only out of a handful of years?
Yes.
Okay,
I thought this was much bigger pie.
Thanks for clarifying that.
So the options here.
So what was the question again?
This is quite
how
a lot.
many prosecutors were disciplined? 1, 42, 0, 17, or 18?
Well, we already know one.
Can't be 42 because that's the answer.
Well, I guess discipline could be more than just jail. What was it? What was the last two options?
17 or 18?
It's got to be one of those two. I'll go with 18.
All right. I'm just going to click 17 here since that was the first number I heard. Only one prosecutor was disciplined.
One.
Burleson and Washington County, Texas District Attorney Charles Sebesta. In February, he was disbarred for his misconduct in the 1994 wrongful capital murder conviction of Anthony Graves, whose conviction was reversed in 2006 by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit because the prosecution failed to turn over evidence pointing to Graves's innocence. After wrongly serving 18 years, including 12 on death row, Graves was exonerated in 2011.
What a numbskull.
Let's wrap the remaining 3 up here in a moment. I'll go to the phones here and to your calls and thoughts. We've got somebody calling from Discord, calling themselves Friendly Little Boy. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm a little bit got no shirt on for sure. I love that you guys got no shirt on. Love that no shirt life. You know what I mean?
Tell me what you're calling about tonight.
Well, I'm calling about you guys are looking good without your damn shirts on, and I'm ready to party. What do you guys say? You guys are doing a damn radio show, a live stream, showing off. You guys are a couple of snacks. You know what I mean? What do you want?
I have no clue.
Snack is some sort of slang for the internet, meaning that you find us attractive. That's not what you said you were calling about, though, Friendly Little Boy.
Well, that's because I knew you wouldn't let me on the air if you knew I was the same person.
Well, what would make you think
back.
that?
Same person calling back. Yeah, we have a 1 call per night rule.
You could have told the truth and said you wanted to talk about being shirtless, and we would have put you on the air. You don't have to call and tell a lie about what you want to talk about. This really is an open phone show, and you really can talk about whatever it is you want. So you don't need to use subterfuge. I had no idea you were the same person, so thanks for being honest about that, because it's only one call per night here on Free Talk Live. We don't have a whole lot of rules on this show, and we certainly don't have any rules surrounding what you need to talk about. You don't have to talk about the topic that we have on the air at any given moment. You can bring up whatever it is you want. If you want to, do something silly or ridiculous or whatever, that's fine. Just as long as our stations aren't put in jeopardy,
right?
And a conversation about being shirtless is not going to put anybody in jeopardy, as long as you don't say certain words. And you didn't, so thank you for that. Appreciate the call here tonight. But yeah, only one call per night. We don't have a whole lot of rules here, but that's one of them. The reason we have that rule is because we want to make sure there's room for everybody. But obviously on a weeknight show, we don't exactly have wall-to-wall phone calls, so you could say, well, there's plenty of room because nobody else is on the line. Still, the point is we don't want the same person calling over and over again.
Right.
Okay, if you're that good on the air, get your own damn show.
Right.
Okay, back to the list here. And by the way, our Discord call-in lines are over at discord.lrn.fm. And he did sound great, so you should have called the first time on Discord rather than calling the first time on the phones, because you would have sounded better the first time. Anyway, we got 3 more questions to go here. So far, 4 more?
We're on question 5.
Crap.
Okay. I thought there were 8 questions.
At least there are. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 4.
Oh, right. Okay. At least you're a snack. Is that what you said?
I love it,
Conan?
Had to look it up though.
I'll take the compliment, even though it's from a guy. We're coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Free Talk Live.
Hundreds of videos of people posting, the snow in Georgia isn't real because if you take it and you wad it into a snowball and you hold a lighter to it, it doesn't burn. And it leaves these charred black marks. And it's like, yeah, that's the way snow behaves everywhere because it's ice. And there's way more molecules in, a block ice than there is in a match.
Because size does matter.
Yeah, extremely. When it comes to temperature, absolutely.
Can't you cut the Southerners a break? I mean, they've never seen snow.
If you think that there's a conspiracy out there to spray plastic snow across the
is that what they're saying?
entire state of Georgia, and you think that the snow isn't real, you're a moron.
Wait, is that what they actually say in the video?
My friends and fellow patriots, it's a conspiracy. They're spraying chemtrail snow all over the state of Georgia.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America. as well as sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll-free. Right here, the number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And we got Discord over the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over in our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Free Talk Live is brought to you by Horizon. That's the new name for what was formerly known as Zencash. Now, the cryptocurrency aspect of Horizon is still called Zen, Z-E-N.
Yes.
You can still, search for that over at CoinMarketCap or whatever other favorite cryptocurrency tracking websites that you have, because it's still got great privacy protections. It's still got zero-knowledge anonymity. It's still the same Zen as before. It's just they changed the name of the whole project to Horizon, HORIZEN.global. That's their website. And the reason they made the change is because the Horizon platform does more than just cryptocurrency. It also has the ability to chat privately with other people on the network. And soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. So they've got some interesting plans for the future. So go to horizon.global to learn more about Horizon, bringing privacy to life. HORIZEN.global.
And reminder, we are still giving away some Zen. There's a new contest that starts today.
Ooh, tell me about that.
You might want to download the podcast and listen carefully, because there is a trivia question this week.
So what you're saying is, if you don't listen to the podcast, you don't get to enter this particular version of the giveaway.
Correct.
There may be other opportunities for people who don't listen to the podcast.
Oh, there will be other opportunities.
But this is a good excuse to subscribe to the podcast. Maybe
yes, subscribe to the podcast, download the podcast, listen to the ads, and again, there is a trivia question this week.
Okay.
And if you've entered previously and not won previously, you need to answer the trivia question to be entered into this giveaway.
I see. Got it. And you will hear that if you listen to the archival version of the show, which is available through podcast over at freetalklive.com. If you need the feed, you can go to feeds.freetalklive.com. That'll get you right to the RSS feed that you can pop into your favorite podcatcher like iTunes or whatever.
Yes.
All right. Back to the 8-question quiz.
Yes.
On prosecutorial misconduct, which we've not quite completely struck out so far, but mostly Conan and I have failed to successfully answer these questions so far.
Next question.
Question 5.
Who said, quote, "The prosecutor has more power over life, liberty, and reputation than any other person in America"? The options are Justice Thurgood Marshall, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, former Justice and former U.S. Attorney General Robert Jackson, or Attorney Ted Wells.
I'm going to give it to
Ginsburg.
I'm going to give it to Ted Wells.
All right, so I'm going to click Ted Wells. That is incorrect. It was actually Robert Jackson, who served on the Supreme Court from 1941 to 1954.
Don't know him.
Question number 6. In John Thompson's case, how many years did the Orleans Parish DA's office conceal evidence that could have exculpated him? 2, 21, 15, or 9 years?
21.
Incorrect. It was 15 years.
Still pretty awful.
His lawyer sued the prosecutor, Harry Connick, in the landmark Supreme Court case, Connick v. Thompson. And yes.
Is he related to Harry Connick Jr.?
Yes. That's the father.
That's his dad.
of the musician.
Okay.
Question number 7. What did the Supreme Court rule in Connick v. Thompson? Was it a 5-4 that the prosecution was liable, or a 5-4 that the prosecution was not liable? I will, before you answer, say there is a little bit of a blurb here. John Thompson was awarded $14 million for the 14 years he wrongly served on death row due to the failure of the Orleans Parish DA's office to disclose evidence pointing to his innocence. The DA's office appealed the decision to the Supreme Court. So it was a 5-4 decision. Was the prosecution liable or not liable?
Not liable.
Not liable.
Congratulations, you're correct.
We got one.
Today, yeah, but I mean, the blurb spelled it out.
No, the blurb spelled out what the lower court did. And then the DA appealed to the Supreme Court.
It's almost never the case that government agencies are held liable for any kind of misconduct or lies or scamming or whatever.
A letter from a coalition of exonerees who were victims of prosecutor misconduct said, quote, "Today, the U.S. Supreme Court in Connick v. Thompson took away most of the only remaining means those of us who have been wrongfully convicted of a crime had for holding prosecutors liable for their misconduct." And the final question, question number 8.
Being in the government means never having to say you're sorry.
What evidence did Orleans Parish attorneys fail to disclose to Thompson's defense attorney? Was it blood test results which excluded Thompson? Was it information on a payment given to an informant who testified against Thompson? Was it blood samples, or
all of the above?
Was it all of the above?
I'm going with all of the above.
All the above. Why was number 3 blood samples different than number 1?
The first one was blood test results.
Okay.
Which excluded Thompson, and the third was blood samples. You are correct. A private investigator hired by Thompson's appellate attorneys discovered that the district attorney's office concealed all of the evidence.
Wow.
And then when I click view results...
And that's just the one time they got caught doing it. How many times did these same scum conceal evidence to send other innocent people to jail? There's no way to know.
You jointly got 2 out of the 8 questions.
And I got 3, so I win.
All right, well.
But we both still lose. But I lose a little less.
Because they're still in charge. They're still doing their thing.
This has been shared on the social media so that listeners can take the quiz at their leisure, even though they will have heard the answers if they were listening. Although I guess some people will see the thing on social media but not have listened to the show.
So, and maybe they will then listen to the show over at freetalklive.com. All right, in the last hour, we teased you a little bit with the story about Roy Moore, the former judge in Alabama. Darryl, that's where you're from originally. Yes. And he was recently on the Sacha Baron Cohen series that Showtime has been producing called Who is America? Now, I have raved about this show from the first episode. I haven't done a summary every single week, although I did a couple summaries the first couple weeks because I just thought it was so entertaining and so good. I was so glad to see Sacha Cohen getting back into the act that he was kind of known for, that made him a household name here in the United States, which, of course, is the idea of masquerading as though you're a character, being completely in that role, and setting up dupes.
Tricking the hell out of dupes.
Usually very well-known dupes, people who have a name, people who are, publicity hounds or celebrities or politicians. And
and not all politicians are necessarily well-known. So there was the state rep from Georgia who bared his butt, screamed the N-word.
He did.
And wound up resigning before his term expired, even though had he stayed on until his term expired, he would have gotten a pension.
Wow. So, he was that was episode number 2 in Who is America this year, and you saw that clip. I think I showed that one to you. that was one of the most jaw-dropping, amazing experiences. So the guy who got this state rep that you're referring to, the character of Sacha Cohen, for those that don't know, this is the same guy who created Borat and Bruno and Ali G. Those were his first 3 characters. But everybody knows those characters, so he can't go and keep playing them.
Right.
So he's adopted new characters, some of whom involve, probably I think most of them, involve like facial latex. So this one especially, this character, Colonel Erhan Morad, he is this ostensible Israeli Mossad agent.
Not in the Mossad.
Even though he doubly says he's both in the Mossad and
when
not
I was in the Mossad. I mean, when I was not in the Mossad.
Right. He'll say that in front of his would-be victims. And so one of the guys that was put in front of this character was Roy Moore, the former judge from Alabama. And now Roy Moore, he's mad. He's suing Sacha Cohen and suing Showtime. And we'll play the audio clip of why coming up here in moments.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring Simon to the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. I have the 10-page lawsuit filed by Roy Moore, the former judge out of Alabama, against Sacha Cohen, as well as the Showtime network and its parent company, CBS Networks. They are making allegations here claiming that the portrayal of Judge Moore in this particular clip, which I will play for you here in just a moment, has, quote, severely harmed Judge Moore's reputation and caused him, Mrs. Moore, and his entire family severe emotional distress, as well as caused and will cause plaintiffs financial damage. So what was it all about? Here is the clip from Who is America? This is the 3rd episode of the show. 5-minute clip here from Showtime's official YouTube channel. Oops, I don't know what that is. There's mystery music playing. I hate it when these damn websites just decide to start randomly playing stuff. So I will have
either that or Will Coley never shut off the music after.
No, I closed the window that Will had open. So we will have to discern exactly where that is coming from before we can continue with any kind of audio. Oh, I see it. It's down here on this.
Look at that stupid. Is it McLean?
Yeah, it's the Die Hard article. We were reading about Die Hard 6 apparently is coming out at some point, which will be.
It's not going to be an all-girl cast, thankfully.
Yeah, thank goodness. But
was that rumored?
No,
they're making everything an all. They're making everything an all-girl cast.
They're doing it with Ocean's 11. Now it's going to be called Ocean's 8 apparently.
Yeah,
all right,
just stop at Hollywood.
See if we can actually get this on the air here now. Okay, here we go. So from Showtime, here is the audio.
אל תדבר שטויות. Modern technology is at the forefront of the fight against terror. One time, I killed a suicide bomber with an iPad Pro, but luckily I had bought AppleCare. I'm going now to meet a respected politician to showcase the latest Israeli gadget. I'm sitting with Roy Moore.
Alabama Republican Senate candidate Roy Moore is facing accusations of sexual misconduct. 4 women,
a total of 9 women have now come forward.
One accuser says that Moore initiated a sexual encounter when she was just 14 years old.
Get out and vote for Roy Moore. Do it.
So in case you didn't know who Roy Moore was, they always put little news clips in front of these segments to kind of brief you here on who this person is.
It really is an honor. Shalom.
Shalom.
Very, very nice to meet you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very honored.
Why Alabama have this strong connection with Israel?
It's just Alabama has always been a state that valued freedom, valued liberty.
Of course.
And appreciated what people went through to get it.
Ian, stop for a second. How do you... This guy's eyebrows, man. How do you not see through the cosmetics and see that this is just crazy?
These
he looks like a monkey.
The conservatives that this character picks on, they just cannot see anything critically about this character. Because he's representing himself as part of Israel and the Mossad and all that, they just have this love, this unabashed love for this other government and all of its machinations, that just anything this man says they will do. As you pointed out, Darryl, in episode 2, where he goes up against this, or meets with this state rep from Georgia, and has him do the most ridiculous things you can possibly imagine on camera in the name of stopping terrorism.
And the guy said, he had me fearing that my wife and my kids were going to be attacked and killed by terrorists. I had to do it.
It's anything he says, anything that state rep
You
says.
know, this
is
this is like, all right. So this is like the new Milgram experiment. It's like, how do you do that? How do you redo that experiment? Because everyone knows it's all in the textbooks. They
can't redo it basically because of certain ethics rules.
Except here he's doing it.
Well, this isn't an experiment. It's just
he's also not having them. Well,
it's not a scientific experiment.
True, it's not a scientific experiment. I was going to say
he's not having he's not having
them hurt other people, right. But Ian, you said that apparently there was one of the things where they planted an explosive on somebody and then
That's
detonated
correct.
it?
Yes, that happened in the second to last episode. Or the last episode.
They had somebody convinced that he had possibly killed someone.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And he was okay with it.
Well, I mean, he said that character, that individual said that he was feeling queasy after having done it. But yeah, it was crazy. That was the last episode, which you should also see. But let's continue here. So he's got Roy Moore in this room. They're in D.C. They have told Moore that he's going to be given an award for his support of Israel. And that's what he's expecting to happen here. And there's a lot of build-up to the ultimate joke. But first, he takes a few shots at Alabama, which is hilarious. Here we go. Darryl, let me jump it back just a moment here.
Now, Moore did say that... Yeah, you're playing the quote here. So
I'm jumping it back just a few seconds here.
Yeah.
So Roy Moore with Colonel Elhan Morad.
To meet you.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very honored.
Why Alabama have this strong connection with Israel?
It's just Alabama has always been a state that valued freedom, valued liberty.
Of course.
And
so the state motto is, "We dare defend our rights." And, like if you just take the state motto to be like, that's what we support, then, it kind of makes sense. Oh, yeah, we're defending our rights, so therefore we'd support freedom and liberty. But if you actually go to Alabama, then no, there's, still all kinds of laws against various vice, certain pleasure aids.
Well, it's kind of like New Hampshire. Live free or die.
Certain pleasure aids are only allowed for educational or scientific purposes.
And those are things that laws that people like Roy Moore would have supported.
Oh, he definitely supports.
Yeah. Let's go on here.
Valued freedom, valued liberty.
Of course.
And appreciated what people went through to get it. And I think that
Alabama has always been a place for equality.
It has.
Seems like an obvious reference to the 1960s, right? Because it wasn't in Alabama where there was that situation with the schools and forced integration and all that.
Yep, and that's where the bus boycotts happened. Yeah. And note, Rosa Parks wasn't, protesting buses. She was protesting the laws that forced... when the bus driver guy moves a little pole, then all the colored folk got to move behind the pole. She was protesting that law that said that the private bus companies could mandate where different people sat. That was not a private bus company making a decision. That was a state law that the companies had to follow.
It,
and that's something that a lot of people don't understand about the Jim Crow South.
They think we need a new law to fix the old law.
And some of the biggest heroes, and I'm not going, this statement is not meant to take anything away from the Martin Luther Kings and the protesters, but some of the unsung heroes were the diner owners that allowed the protest to happen inside their buildings.
Against the law.
Against the law.
Yeah.
Abolitionists of their time.
Yes.
Continue.
Celebrated throughout our history, things like this.
In Alabama, people have always been free, whatever the religion or race or sexuality.
Well, it's part of our heritage.
Of course. So the difference in Israel, and many people ask, why are we have so many technological innovation? Because in the Army, there is a unit just for technological innovation.
The Army has always been about technology.
We're all very proud of the new anti-tunnel tech system. So I don't know if you are aware, we had 2 wars with Gaza. And in the last one, Hamas were building tunnels and using them to infiltrate and launch terror attacks.
Yeah, sure.
We have developed seismic waves that can detect where the tunnel is. Hamas are very upset about this, but it has been very exciting since it has been started. We have detected 3 tunnels, each of which would be used for terrorist attack. They have now used this technology to identify other abnormalities. It turns out that sex offenders, and particularly pedophiles, secrete an enzyme 4-DDHT, which is actually detectable. It is 3 times the level of non-perverts. So the phrase sweating like a rapist is actually based on science.
All right. So here we are. So there was all that setup to finally get to the point of introducing a new technology to ostensibly identify pedophiles. And he's going to pull out a wand here and wand over Roy Moore in just a moment. Hour number 3 is next. You can take control of the airwaves here. It's Free Talk Live.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay, or call us 253-678-1361.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Conan, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Silver's trading at $14.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,195 per ounce. Zen is trading at $18, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,018. Antiwar.com reports on a visit Tuesday with U.S. Special Representative for Syria James Jeffrey. Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar demanded that all Kurdish militant factions leave Syria immediately and permanently. This is roughly in keeping with Turkey's general hostility towards Kurds in general and the YPG in particular. They have never before explicitly called for the Kurdish factions to abandon Syria entirely, however, and it's not clear where they'd conceivably go. The timing is also strange, as Turkish officials have been exclusively focused on the Idlib province lately, not the Kurds, and the meeting with Jeffrey was supposed to be a chance for Turkey to push the U.S. to intervene in Idlib to save Turkish-backed rebels. Turkey has been pushing for the U.S. to distance itself from the Kurds, especially the YPG, throughout the Syrian war. With the YPG controlling substantially all of Syria's northeast, there is no realistic possibility they'll leave the country outright. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the FBI recovered a pair of ruby slippers worn in the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz after they were stolen from a Minnesota museum. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Justice said the slippers were recovered as part of a sting operation in Minneapolis earlier this summer after an attempt to defraud and extort the Markel Corporation, which owns the slippers. Jill Sanborn, special agent in charge of the Minneapolis division of the FBI, said, "At the heart of nearly every art crime, we see greed woven into the fabric of the scheme. Greed to take it and greed to profit from its return. Dorothy's slippers are a treasured piece of Americana, and we are hoping members of the public can help us better fill in the details that will finish the script of this mystery so we can hold accountable those who were behind the scheme." The DOJ said the slippers are one of 4 known existing pairs worn by actress Judy Garland in the film and hold an estimated value of millions of dollars if sold at auction. The pair recovered by the FBI were known as the traveling pair and were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids in 2005. They weren't located until 2017 when the Grand Rapids Police Department reached out to the FBI for assistance when a plot to extort the Markel Corporation emerged. After the slippers were recovered in July, the FBI brought them to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., where conservators examined them to confirm their authenticity. The FBI has identified suspects, and investigators have called on the public for assistance identifying all parties involved in the initial theft and extortion attempt. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports President Donald Trump blasted CNN and NBC News yet again in a tweet on Tuesday, criticizing NBC's handling of a story on movie producer Harvey Weinstein and suggesting a look at their license without specifying exactly what he was calling for. Trump has frequently criticized the U.S. news media for what he has said is unfair coverage of him. He wrote in the tweet, which cited the outlet's coverage of Weinstein, "I have long criticized NBC and their journalistic standards, worse than even CNN. Look at their license." Ronan Farrow, a reporter, had said NBC News blocked him from working on a story about Weinstein, who is facing criminal rape and sexual assault charges and a civil lawsuit for sex trafficking. A former NBC producer corroborated Farrow's allegations. Farrow later published a story in the New Yorker magazine. NBC has defended its handling of the story. Trump blasted NBC and other TV networks last October, calling their news fake and suggesting he would challenge their licenses. The FCC did not immediately comment on the tweet, but in October, the FCC's chairman said the agency does not have authority to revoke broadcast licenses over editorial decisions. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A cool guy from middle school is still sporting his fat pair of Jinkos. A stunned St. Peter's Square crowd hears the Pope getting bitched out by God, and an 8th grader caked in makeup is probably really confident. This is The Onion Week in Review. This week, a Pew Research Center poll found that the vast majority of Americans would watch a television show called Love Trap, with most saying that regardless of the show's genre or quality, they would tune in weekly to see its stars stumble into romantic triangles, double-cross one another, and contend with whatever the titular love trap refers to. The survey confirmed that 62% of Americans would likely watch Love Trap to see a shrewd but cold-hearted Southern belle named Tammy. 23% of the nation hoped the show would be referred to as The Trap by its most loyal fans, and 15% of respondents said they simply needed something to watch. And in this week's science news, a biologist completes a 5-minute study of the pathetic organism in his mirror. In other news, a man confidently hits send on the worst job application a company has ever seen.
This is the Onion News Network.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. We're talking about Who is America, the Sacha Baron Cohen show that aired its first season. I believe it completed airing those this week on the Showtime network. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
And now being sued by Roy Moore, the former judge in Alabama, and his wife for ostensible fraud, for alleged intentional infliction of emotional distress, and defamation. In a 10-page lawsuit that I have a copy of here, courtesy of, I think it was, let's see here, WashingtonExaminer.com reporting on this story, where, for those of you just tuning in, we're playing the actual clip from Showtime's YouTube channel. And so anybody can go and see this without actually having seen the full show. It's a 5-minute interview with Roy Moore, where they ostensibly invited him to D.C. on an all-expenses-paid trip to receive what was supposed to be a 70-year award celebrating the 70 years of Israel, allegedly, and celebrating Roy Moore's continued support for that particular state. That was the ruse under which he was brought into this particular studio with Sacha Cohen, who is in a heavy amount of facial makeup as Colonel Ehran Morad, and using a ridiculously heavy accent the entire time.
And ridiculously heavy eyebrows.
Yes, yeah, very heavy makeup, very heavy accent, and it's pretty entertaining stuff here. And I did comment off the air that of all of the Ehran Morad clips in this season, because I've seen all of the season at this point, and it's excellent. I highly recommend it. This is actually one of the more tame clips. This is one of the more, I would say, least outrageous of the clips, because this is one of the few clips where Ehran Morad is kind of just making fun of his victim, whereas in the other ones, like where he where he invites this state representative from Georgia to take his clothes off, or at least drop his drawers, to be nude.
He encourages him to expose his buttocks,
to scream the N-word, to take pictures underneath a burqa with a selfie stick while talking like a Chinese person. I mean, the guy does ridiculous things.
Kung Pao chicken?
Yeah, that's what he says at one point. And so usually Ehran Morad is just showing these people being ridiculous in pursuit of supposedly anti-terror or stopping people from coming across the border or whatever. So this is actually one of the more tame clips. Anyway, we're about halfway through. Most of it so far has just been set up, where they're talking about Alabama and how freedom-oriented it is and why they love Israel so much. And
then support, what was it? There was a jab at the old Jim Crow South.
There was a jab at Alabama loving freedom and being in favor of equality or something. And then the colonel here, Sacha Cohen's character, starts to build up to the actual joke on Roy Moore, which is that he starts talking about this technology they have to detect tunnels, and then he says, oh, well, we've modified the technology to detect pedophiles, sex offenders, and that's where we pick up the clip here from Showtime on their YouTube channel.
So in Israel, they have developed a machine that is used in schools and playgrounds to detect anyone coming in. And if they detect a pedophile, the wand alerts the law enforcement and the schools within a 100-mile radius. It is very, very simple to use. You just switch it on.
Now he's pulling out one of those wands like you see at a security checkpoint or at the airport.
All right.
Normally these are magnetometers. They detect metal, but in this case it's ostensibly to detect some sort of pheromone or whatever.
And because neither of us are sex offenders, then it makes absolutely nothing.
So he's waving it on himself, the colonel here, the character of Sacha Cohen, waving it on himself, and then
just put it on, you put it nearby.
Wait, he waves it on Roy Moore.
Let's see a problem. Hold on. It must be faulty. It's malfunctioning. I'm sure it will do the same with the other guy here. Chezi? Yeah. Let me just...
He calls over a crew member to test it on him. Clear. And of course, they're showing Roy Moore's reactions here to all of this, and he's just sort of quietly, wide-eyed, looking as this goes on.
Sorry, is this your jacket?
Yes.
Did you lend the jacket to somebody else, maybe?
No. I've been married for 33.
Sure.
I never had an accusation of such things.
I am not accusing you at all. This is
well,
not...
then, if this is an instrument, certainly I'm not a pedophile, okay?
No, but the machine is...
Well, I don't know. Maybe Israeli technology hasn't developed properly.
This is 99.8% accurate.
Well,
it is not saying that you are a pedophile, of course not.
I am simply cutting this conversation right now.
No,
Thank you.
Have you been
nice. I support Israel. I don't support this kind of stuff. Thank you.
No, I'm not saying that you're a sex offender at all.
That's the end of the clip.
And do we know when this was filmed?
It says in the article that it was earlier this year, so like February or something like that.
So earlier this year, which would be 2018, there were accusations that came out about Roy Moore in 2017.
Correct.
And just before he got up and ended the interview, he says, I've never been accused and there's never been accusations.
He's been accused plenty of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of which happened before this was filmed.
As I understand.
Yeah, it actually had a list of the women's, it was 12 women accused him of some type of inappropriate actions.
Yeah, it says here it took place approximately, this is from the lawsuit itself, paragraph 15. It says the interview took place on February 14th of 2018.
Yep, and February 14th, 2018 is well after that special election where he ran for U.S. Senate, and there were all kinds of accusations.
Yeah. Now, just to be clear, if Roy Moore was attracted to teenage girls, that doesn't make him a pedophile. That would make him a febiophile or a febophile or however it is you pronounce it. But regardless, it's still a funny joke. I don't mind seeing politicians getting picked on like this. And let's look at the legal questions in this case. Does Judge Roy Moore, the former Judge Roy Moore, does he have any claim to defamation given that he is a public personality? Because the kind of the history of court cases of public personalities claiming, well, you hurt my reputation. You said things about me that weren't true. Well, you're able to legally say, and this isn't legal advice, this is my understanding, you're able to make statements about public personalities, and they really don't have much recourse against you in court.
So what his wand said, because he didn't actually say anything, his wand says,
denied it.
Rob Roy, you are a pedophile. So is that
who is Rob Roy?
Roy Moore. Rob Roy is a drink, right?
It was a movie about Rob Roy.
Anyways, this guy from Alabama, the wand was waved. Sacha didn't say anything except that
I think the thing is malfunctioning.
Right. Oh no, you're not a pedophile. I would never say that.
But because he set it up, and we know the case now, he actually did say, but not in so much words, dude, you're a pedophile. So
said it without saying it.
Right. Now, he's a public figure.
It's the same way a lot of the conspiracy theorists will say things while asking questions.
He's a public figure, and so now can he get away with this? Is this legit?
Can Cohen get away with saying that he's a pedophile? I would think he can get away with actually coming right out and saying it, which he didn't do in this particular clip. The character, acts shocked and acts like, oh, well, this must be a malfunction.
But now, if this actually goes to court, could he argue that
it's going to court? I mean, it's been fine.
Unless it gets settled out.
It could get kicked out. Sure.
Could get settled out.
It could.
They're
looking for $95 million.
The judge could wind up saying, you have no standing to bring this case.
Right.
There are all kinds of things in federal court that could happen without there ever being an actual court hearing.
Let's look further into the case here. You're welcome to share your thoughts. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Again, the Moore and his wife alleging 3 different allegations here. Fraud. Now, that's, I think, probably the strongest argument, and we'll talk a little bit further about that. Defamation and also infliction of emotional distress. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They're working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform and generate income from them. This will allow Horizon to bring thousands of real-life services to the community. Services that provide freedom, utility, and privacy. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses on the setup page, and then load the app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. AnyPay.global.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nesquik. Try Nesquik 4-packs, perfect for lunches and great for kids on the go. Look for it in the juice aisle. Snack time is a great chance to sneak extra calcium into your child's diet without making him feel like he's eating something he doesn't want. Serve up dairy-rich foods like smoothies, flavored milk, frozen yogurt, and string cheese. He'll love the treat, and you'll love knowing how good it is for him. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Join us here. You can talk about whatever's on your mind. We're doing a little analysis here of the case, if there is one, against Sacha Cohen, Showtime Networks, and CBS, filed by Roy Moore and his wife and their attorney, demanding $95 million in damages. A 10-page lawsuit alleging three different things. One, that there was defamation of Roy Moore, the former judge of Alabama and the right-wing guy that lost the election, the special election in 2017. intentional infliction of emotional distress, so-called, and also alleged fraud. And that's what we're talking about here tonight regarding the Showtime program Who is America, which just wrapped up its first season. I believe it was earlier this week. 7 episodes, all of them were fantastic. I highly recommend. If you thought it was a funny clip that we played earlier, like I said, that one's pretty tame compared to some of the things that happen in this season. It's a great program. And this is the first lawsuit that's been publicized. Maybe there are others who are going to jump on the Sue Cohen bandwagon here. But
I thought I saw something about Sarah Palin saying she was filing suit or something.
Well, in this case, they actually point out in the lawsuit that they did send a threatening letter to Showtime in advance after they determined that they'd been duped, because they got tricked. And then after determining that, they realized who they were tricked by, and they sent a notice to Showtime saying, you better not air that.
Has the Sarah Palin one come out yet?
I haven't seen it.
I might be saving that for last because it might be the best.
Well, the season's over, so
really?
They may be saving it for season 2, or maybe it was just not good enough and it was on the cutting room floor.
Or maybe
Deadline Hollywood has a story from August 6th. Headline: Sacha Baron Cohen interview with Sarah Palin may not air on Who is America. After former Alaska governor and vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin accused Sacha Baron Cohen of duping her and that he was a handicapped U.S. military veteran during an interview, Showtime president of programming Gary Levin hinted at TCA that the segment may not even air on the series Who is America.
Interesting.
He told reporters...
Question, was it bad, or did they get to him?
He told reporters... All I can say about that is that there are several people who have thrown themselves in front of the buses that may not be heading their way. And the chief reason why the Palin interview may not make a future episode's final cut is because Sacha Baron Cohen, quote, is always refining the final product because he has a very high bar.
Yeah, it may not have been funny enough.
Yep.
You know? So let me continue here with the allegations. Again, the first one here in this case is the alleged defamation. And as we've pointed out, it's very, very hard, and I forget the exact standard, but it's a very, very high standard that has to be met of, like, ridiculous damage or something. There's some legal term that we don't have Melanie here with us tonight, so I don't know what it is. But if you're a public personality, basically, you don't have standing to say, so-and-so said that naughty thing about me and I got my feelings hurt. It hurt my reputation. Well, sorry, you're a public figure. You don't have the same level of protection that a private person does.
So, according to the Wiki article,
about defamation?
About defamation specifically for public figures. It says in the context of defamation actions, libel and slander specifically, as well as invasion of privacy, a public figure cannot succeed in a lawsuit on incorrect, harmful statements in the U.S. unless there is proof that the writer or publisher acted with actual malice, knowing the falsity, or by reckless disregard for the truth.
Right. And again, even in this particular case, the statements that were made on the air were, oh, no, it must be a faulty device. Right. So the suggestion here, they're going to have to argue that the device itself as a ruse, the device itself, again, that was supposed to detect pedophiles, allegedly, this device was the accusation itself. And they could try to make that accusation, but it's a very high bar to reach, and it's very rare that anybody ever actually reaches.
And even though this guy hasn't been accused by all these women, at least 8 of them that I'm seeing, could that play into Sacha's defense where, everyone and their sister and their aunt and their cousins are accusing you as a...
right, he can bring all that up in court, right?
As a predator.
Wouldn't he be able to...
Oh, yes, definitely.
Right.
Definitely.
In front of a jury, which they're requesting a jury trial.
Right, and... I'm reading here the filing, line 27, or actually like point number 27, which is the second item under first cause of action, defamation per se. Defendant Cohen and his agents, including defendant Showtime and CBS, made false and defamatory statements concerning Judge Moore by calling, representing, and publishing within the district, the nation, and the world with malice that Judge Moore, a pedophile and a sex offender on Who is America. So Roy Moore is saying that Sacha Baron Cohen called him a pedophile.
He
which,
didn't.
if you watch the clip, he said, no, this
malfunctioning.
Must be malfunctioning.
Right.
It's 99.8%.
And remember, the judge telegraphed his move by sending the threatening notice to Showtime saying, you better not air this. So Showtime said, all right, get the lawyers on the line.
Yep.
Okay, we need to go over this here. We'll just double check this, make sure.
Can we win this?
Do we have a case here, or should we cut this thing out and or recut the re-edit the thing?
Right.
So maybe they did do some re-editing. Who knows?
Number 30, defendants acted with actual malice insofar as they knew that the statements made against Judge Moore were false and or recklessly disregarded their falsity.
Well, how would they know they're false? I mean, because as you pointed out, there are a lot of allegations about Roy Moore. Now, of course, you could point out again, as I pointed out, that, well, if he's hitting on a teenager, then it's not technically pedophilia. But regardless, they didn't make any accusations. They played some news clips where accusations of abuse, sexual assault were made.
The BP thing was also sex offender, not just pedophile.
You might be right. But it was mostly talked about as though it were a pedophile detector.
Right. If you're groping someone, it doesn't matter what their age is. If they don't consent to the groping, that is sexual assault.
And is that what was alleged on Roy Moore? Is that he actually assaulted these women, or that he was just hitting on them?
I think there were some allegations of inappropriate touching.
There's inappropriate touching, kissing, shirt removals, and words. But I don't think that was actually any sexual assault.
Right. So to say that it's malice, to draw a conclusion from the allegations that have been put out there, they've got a very high bar to cross to prove defamation in this case, and it's very rare that public personalities succeed.
The second cause of action is intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is tied so closely to the first that I don't know if he will succeed on these first two.
Right.
The third cause of action is fraud, which...
Now, this is an interesting question because before they get to the causes of action, at point number 24, it says here that we informed Showtime and Cohen that Judge Moore, the release that he had signed was obtained through fraud and was therefore void and inoperative. Now, typically when you get interviewed by media, they do have you sign a release form, which specifies who it is that's doing the interviewing. In this case, it was a fake Israeli news agency that they concocted that was doing this. And so...
I'd like to see the release as part of the evidence.
Right. And if you're a public personality, does it really matter if you sign a release? There's more coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
When you use public Wi-Fi, hackers and identity thieves can see anything you do online. Embarrassing photos, your web history, even your passwords. That's why I use private internet access to encrypt my internet connection for less than 10 cents a day. Sign up now at privateinternetaccess.com, and in just a few minutes, you'll be browsing anonymously and only sharing what you want to share. privateinternetaccess.com. It's time to protect your online privacy.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. We're analyzing the case here, if there is one, and it's a pretty weak one in my opinion, but I'm not an attorney, and neither is anybody else in the room. But we've seen some of these cases like this come up before.
We occasionally play one on the radio.
And get shot down. In this case, though, it's by an attorney. It's by Judge Roy Moore. And, of course, he's got his own attorney who filed this particular case on behalf of Moore and his wife against Sacha Baron Cohen. The Showtime networks and CBS networks, sort of jointly and severally, they're trying to get $95 million for hurting their feelings, basically, and ostensibly destroying their reputation in one fell swoop in a 5-minute segment in a half-hour-long show that aired on the Showtime network this summer. On Who is America, the 7-episode series. It was episode number 3, and they don't like that it was suggested that Roy Moore might be a pervert, might be a pedophile, and despite the fact that for months in the news media in the United States, he was being, attacked with all kinds of allegations about him actually committing sexual assault against
and all
women.
Of these allegations happened like 6 months before this meeting.
Correct, but he's acting like this one thing, this one Showtime piece has destroyed their reputation, which is, of course, ridiculous on its face.
Right.
And he doesn't deserve his reputation because he's just a public figure, and you can pretty much say anything you want to about public figures for the most part.
And Ian, go back and read that clause 24 or point 24 in this case.
So this is from the 10-page.
And then I want to read point 40.
24, in the preemptive notice, defendant CBS, Showtime, and thus Cohen were informed that the release that Judge Moore had signed was obtained through fraud and was therefore void and inoperative.
And point number 40, which is under fraud, says defendant Cohen and his agents, including Showtime and CBS, knowingly made false material representation that the show segment that Judge Moore was to appear on was being produced by Yerushalayim TV, when in fact it was being produced by Showtime and CBS as part of their latest project, Who is America?
And so you did some digging.
I did some digging, and I found a business filing for Yerushalayim TV, LLC.
Well, wait a minute. They claim here in point number 15 that it doesn't actually exist. But you found a filing.
Oh, it does, yes, in Wyoming.
Because in legal
initial
land,
filing date, October 6th, 2017.
Right.
Standing, good. Formed in Wyoming.
Fees.
Principal office, 900 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 1000, Beverly Hills, California. Now, I couldn't find anything tying that location to anyone necessarily, other than it's apparently just a bunch of business offices. Nothing strange. That happens all the time, right?
Sure.
So then I click, there's different things, additional details, history, public notes, parties. The organizer of this LLC is a woman named Jennifer Wallace. Address, 801 South Figueroa Street, 15th floor, Los Angeles, California, 90017.
Not a real Israeli-sounding name there.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Happened to, let me just do a search for this lady. And the address. I didn't search for the address when I searched for her, and it came up with a law firm, Manning & Cass, Elrod Ramirez Truster, LLP, attorneys at law. Click on locations. Golly gee, don't you know? Los Angeles, their office is at 801 South Figueroa Street, 15th floor, Los Angeles, California. So it sounds to me like Showtime and CBS had their lawyers create this television company as an LLC. So this company exists. So my thought initially was, I wonder if the release that he signed had, CBS or Showtime written in small print somewhere.
But even if it didn't.
But it doesn't matter because it shouldn't.
Right.
But for a CYA purpose, you want to, if you're doing something
it would help.
To where you think that there might be a lawsuit, you want that release. So let's just say that the release at the top had in big letters, Yerushalayim Television. It's an actual thing that exists that was created before he signed that release.
Well, right. So let's point this out, though. It's important to clarify. Even though Yerushalayim doesn't actually likely have any real offices anywhere.
Doesn't matter.
It's a real thing in the world of legal land.
Yes.
Meaning that it's as real as any other corporation. Showtime networks, CBS networks.
It's as real as any DBA.
Right. So, for those that don't know, a corporation is just a file folder. It's just a piece of paper. It's what they call a legal fiction. It's fantasy created by the lawyers in the United States and in other countries. And usually these corporations exist to protect. The corporations exist to obscure, in this case.
And also to, in a lot of cases, to make it easier to actually function. To where if every stockholder for Walmart had to sign every paycheck, which is what would happen if Walmart weren't organized as a corporation with a treasurer, nobody would ever get a paycheck.
Sure. I mean, there would probably be some sort of organizational thing that would be acceptable even in the absence of a government corporation. But regardless, these corporations exist to protect people who know what they're doing. In this case, attorneys. Right. And so attorneys for Showtime, allegedly, created this corporation.
I'm just presuming that this company is the legal firm for Showtime, or one of several, because they probably have several.
So Showtime is a subsidiary of CBS Networks.
Yes.
Meaning that CBS owns Showtime. That means that if this was Showtime who created whatever it was, Yerushalayim TV, that means that Yerushalayim TV, that corporation, is a project of Showtime. That's a subsidiary of Showtime. So it does exist just as much as any other corporate entity exists. So the idea that that was fraud legally doesn't really hold water.
Yeah.
And so there is that point. So it actually exists. So what was it, number 15?
That was early, that was just an earlier
It doesn't
point.
work. But if
15 and 40.
But if the standard consent form that Roy signed is anything like the Borat consent form,
which you pulled up,
which I was able to find. Number 4 on this thing, the participant specifically, but without limitation, waives and agrees not to bring at any time in the future any claims against the producer or against any of its aggressors or licensees or anyone associated with the film. That includes the assertions of, I'm going to skip all the way down to D, intrusion, such as any alleged offensive behavior or questioning of any invasion of privacy, or E, false slight, such as any allegedly false or misleading portrayal of the participant.
And this is why the fraud allegation here is so important, because he's saying, you got me to sign this under false pretenses, so therefore the entire agreement that I signed that I wouldn't sue you is invalid.
But I mean, if, say, it was a legit news corp, would that even be included in their standard consent form, where we could mislead your portrayal or the portrayal of the participant, and you can't do anything about it? Is that in a regular?
What was the fraud, right? So they ostensibly brought him in here to give him an award. They took. Oh, Judge Moore, we would love to have you. We're going to pay you to come to Washington D.C., which they did.
And it was probably an award.
We were going to give you this. Well, ostensibly, the award was going to be given to him during this interview, but he stormed out of the interview.
Right.
So even if they never even had the award made up, he never found that out because he didn't stick around for the whole thing. If there ever was, intended to be an award presentation, maybe they would have given him an award at some point during this. So, okay, yeah, he didn't get the award, but he didn't stay on through the interview, so he broke the agreement, halfway through. What's the fraud here? Again, Jerusalem TV exists as a corporate entity. He was dealing with people from that corporate entity. There's not much of an entity there, but legally it exists. So good luck to him on his
There's
lawsuit.
a couple more points I want to bring up here in the suit.
I don't think he has a case. Nope. And I don't actually mean good luck. I hope he gets kicked out of court.
Karma.
Yeah, for sure. There's more coming up here in moments. Your calls, thoughts also welcome. Free Talk Live.
On August 24th, 1992, 20 eager Cardozo law students filed into a small room to kick off the first day of Barry Scheck and Peter Newfield's Innocence Project clinic. After years as public defenders in New York City, Barry and Peter started the clinic to review cases of people in prison who could prove their innocence using DNA testing. What they thought was a few hundred cases turned out to be thousands, and a clear sign that the system needed repair. At the time, no one imagined that Barry's and Peter's vision would evolve into a national organization with the power to reform the criminal justice system 26 years later. Since that August day in 1992, there are now 565 Cardozo Law School clinic students trained, and the Innocence Project has celebrated 208 exonerations. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agrishosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here in these remaining moments. We got enough time for you. If you want to weigh in on the first lawsuit against the Who is America show, at least the first one that we've heard about, Sacha Baron Cohen's new show on Showtime just wrapped up its first season, 7 episodes. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you check it out. Conan said he didn't want to watch it, but you were cracking up at this this Judge Roy Moore clip, which we played for you here on the air.
Seeing folks, regular folks. Well,
this guy
isn't regular, but
he's scum. He's a judge.
But
he's a politician on top of that.
The history of this for me comes from the old Candid Camera shows where they just get people doing regular folk doing just nonsense, and this is just the same thing. It's cringeworthy.
Well, Candid Camera's more funny.
Seeing how stupid people will be if you just entice them and coerce them into duping them.
And give them a nice trip to Washington, D.C.
exactly.
to give them an award for support of Israel, which was the ostensible reason why Roy Moore came out there, under belief that he was going to get this award.
Yeah.
And
he caught on pretty quick, too.
He walks out of the interview about 4.5 minutes into it. Once he realized that he'd been set up and something was very amiss here, but ultimately claiming that he's been defamed, claiming that there's been damages
and fraud, allegedly,
and that's what we've been looking at here. And we disagree. I think that the three of us, that he was told that he was going to be interviewed by this ostensibly fake television organization out of Israel. Which I've forgotten the name of, Yeheshalom or something like that.
So
but they do exist. I mean, it's a corporation. It's a front corporation. There's not really much behind it except for some attorneys, probably who work for Showtime, or whatever. But ultimately, there is a corporation filed in Wyoming, so that's real, as real as any other corporation.
Well, one thing that's interesting, or actually, 2 points here or he has them as 2 points. It's sort of one simultaneous
in the complaint,
in the complaint
suit.
Right, and this is rather interesting. Point 44. Defendant Cohen, while in disguise, further made false and fraudulent representation that he was Aran Morad in order to trick Judge Moore into speaking with and to be interviewed by him. Point 45. Had plaintiffs known that Aran Morad was defendant Cohen, Judge Moore would never have agreed to be interviewed, and for Mrs. Moore to be present and at a minimum have terminated the interview immediately.
Now, this is an interesting claim because on its face, it alleges that theater is fraud.
I knew who Sacha Baron Cohen was, and I didn't want to be on TV with him. And had I known that this character was Sacha Baron Cohen, I never would have agreed.
So, and that may be true, that he may never would have agreed to that. But
it's not just a claim that theater is fraud. It's a claim that improv theater is fraud.
Well, there is improv going on here. I mean, certainly a lot of it was planned out in advance, obviously, but he was improvising on the scene during the interview. But to allege that playing a character, putting on some makeup, and playing pretend is fraud, or that theater or putting on a performance is tantamount to fraud.
Roy Moore should sue the producers of Lassie because he was emotionally distressed that Timmy fell down the well.
There you go.
Timmy didn't exist. There was no well. I'm heartbroken over this fraud. Give me money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you knew what you were getting into when you went to that movie theater to watch all that. Whereas this guy...
I thought it was a documentary about a boy and his dog.
You got all that from the trailer? I didn't get that message. I got something else completely.
I'm heartbroken and devastated.
So I don't think there's much of a case here. It's going to be
Nor do I.
It's going to be interesting to watch to see how far this gets, if it will even make it into depositions, or at what point this case will end up getting tossed on its butt.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm probably not going to wind up subscribing to this on Pacer or whatever, but it would be interesting to see what does the actual
release
waiver, what did that release say?
Right.
Did it say you can't sue us? Which, Conan, you read the thing from Borat where it said you can't sue us.
And I mean...
Even if we make false allegations about you.
Yeah. Judge Moore should know well enough to read one of these releases, right? It's a legal form. I mean, presumably he's going to read through this, but maybe he wanted that award so bad that he was willing to go ahead and sign the release.
Ian, you were on the Colbert Report.
Yeah.
Did you read the entire release? Did it say that we might selectively edit to make fun of you and you can't sue us?
Well, I knew I was going to get made fun of. I was going along with it.
That wasn't the question.
I don't remember, Darryl. I honestly don't recall. That was a few years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago now at this point.
But to put Roy into your shoes, you knew what you were getting into.
I knew what I was getting into.
He thought he knew what he was getting into, so he probably didn't read it either.
Well, even if he did read it, he might have just been like, well, I mean, I want to get my award.
Yeah.
That the motivation of the self-aggrandizement for him was so strong.
And you wanted to get your face on the Colbert Report.
Well, actually, I didn't really care about that. In fact, my face barely appears in that particular report.
Yeah,
I'm in it.
I don't remember anything.
Just a brief moment. But I wanted to have the Robin Hooding activism get the publicity that they were going to give it, even though I knew it was going to be just, a hilarious lampooning of it, which I was totally fine with, and we all went along with it. We knew what we were getting into because we've got a sense of humor, and the libertarians who saw it, who got so butthurt about it, they were the ones accusing us of saying that, there were libertarians out there who are actually accusing us of destroying the liberty movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did it. That was the nail in the coffin. So I'm not mad at you guys, but at the same time, no, that was not a good choice.
You didn't like it?
I thought it was horrible.
Oh, I thought it was hilarious.
The only guy came out looking good, I think, was the one of the council members.
Oh, okay.
Because he seemed like he was fighting for the man, and these crazy libertarians, poisoning the wells and burning the bridges.
The parking enforcer even
he looked bad.
Came out looking horrible.
It was the one council member who I can't stand. Out of all of those guys, is the council member that I couldn't stand the most, and he came out looking like a saint. I was upset about that.
Well, I thought it was funny, and you don't get to control the narrative when somebody else is writing the script.
Yep, this is true.
All right, hey, we've got Sarah. She's on the line with us here in New Mexico. Sarah,
how's the traffic?
You don't really want to know.
Today I just wanted to talk about meat. You want to talk about you? Europeans,
or meat?
Well, the Europeans refuse to buy our beef from America because it's got so much hormones. And the thing about it is, why are we eating that? How come we need to straighten out our government? Because I got.
Are you an omnivore?
Well, I never seen.
You do? Okay. So
Yeah, and then,
you're saying why are you eating it? Well, I mean, you're eating it, so why don't you answer your own question?
Well, it's the same
Well,
question.
the thing about it is that the Europeans and the other country refuse to buy our meat. It's a trade problem because they're saying the Europeans are saying, okay, fine, you're going to put tariffs on our cars and all this stuff. We're just not going to buy your meat. We never liked your meat anyway.
Whoa. So wait, are they not buying our meat because it's nasty or because of tariffs?
I think it's both right now. You know, they're bringing it up because we never liked your meat. We don't want to buy your meat, but you're putting tariffs on our stuff. So fine, we're not going to buy it. But nobody wants our meat. So the thing is, why are we eating it? How come the American public is so stupid that we don't straighten out our government? We don't want this hormones because I can't hardly eat many of the meat.
So how is government controlling the hormones in the meat?
Well, you have to have money to buy like the hormone-free meat, natural. They have
the free-range stuff. It's pretty expensive.
You're talking about what I'm talking about.
So the hormones are ostensibly used to make the cows bigger, right?
Yes.
That's the idea?
Yes.
And it's the same thing they're doing with vegetables and fruit and other produce. It's the same thing.
Aren't the allegations that the hormones are making it so that kids develop sooner or something like that? I feel like I've heard that allegations. Is there any truth to it?
Either that or turning them into girls, the dudes.
And turning the frogs.
And the frogs gay, right.
That's a bovine growth hormone. That's got to do with the female cows with the female hormones to produce more milk. But there's other hormones that we don't know about.
Well, it sounds to me like, Sarah, that there's the solution is there. You already said there's the hormone-free beef that's available, so why don't you just go eat that?
She said she can't afford it.
Oh, well, then that's what the reason why the hormones exist is to bring the price of meat down so more people can afford more meat, I guess.
Or grow your own meat.
Or go vegetarian.
She can't do that in her Section 8 apartment.
Well,
good point.
Get out.
Thanks, Sarah, for the call tonight. We're out of time for tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, September 5th, 2018. Silver's trading at $14.16 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,195 per ounce. Zen is trading at $18, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,018. Antiwar.com reports on a visit Tuesday with U.S. Special Representative for Syria James Jeffrey, Turkish Defense Minister Hulusi Akar demanded that all Kurdish militant factions leave Syria immediately and permanently. This is roughly in keeping with Turkey's general hostility towards Kurds in general and the YPG in particular. They have never before explicitly called for the Kurdish factions to abandon Syria entirely, however, and it's not clear where they'd conceivably go. The timing is also strange, as Turkish officials have been exclusively focused on the Idlib province lately, not the Kurds, and the meeting with Jeffrey was supposed to be a chance for Turkey to push the U.S. to intervene in Idlib to save Turkish-backed rebels. Turkey has been pushing for the U.S. to distance itself from the Kurds, especially the YPG, throughout the Syrian war. With the YPG controlling substantially all of Syria's northeast, there is no realistic possibility they'll leave the country outright. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports the FBI recovered a pair of ruby slippers worn in the 1939 film The Wizard of Oz after they were stolen from a Minnesota museum. On Tuesday, the U.S. Department of Justice said the slippers were recovered as part of a sting operation in Minneapolis earlier this summer after an attempt to defraud and extort the Markel Corporation, which owns the slippers. Jill Sanborn, special agent in charge of the Minneapolis division of the FBI, said, "At the heart of nearly every art crime, we see greed woven into the fabric of the scheme. Greed to take it and greed to profit from its return. Dorothy's slippers are a treasured piece of Americana, and we are hoping members of the public can help us better fill in the details that will finish the script of this mystery so we can hold accountable those who were behind the scheme." The DOJ said the slippers are one of 4 known existing pairs worn by actress Judy Garland in the film and hold an estimated value of millions of dollars if sold at auction. The pair recovered by the FBI were known as the traveling pair and were stolen from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids in 2005. They weren't located until 2017 when the Grand Rapids Police Department reached out to the FBI for assistance when a plot to extort the Markel Corporation emerged. After the slippers were recovered in July, the FBI brought them to the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C., where conservators examined them to confirm their authenticity. The FBI has identified suspects, and investigators have called on the public for assistance identifying all parties involved in the initial theft and extortion attempt. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports President Donald Trump blasted CNN and NBC News yet again in a tweet on Tuesday, criticizing NBC's handling of a story on movie producer Harvey Weinstein and suggesting a look at their license without specifying exactly what he was calling for. Trump has frequently criticized the U.S. news media for what he has said is unfair coverage of him. He wrote in the tweet, which cited the outlet's coverage of Weinstein, "I have long criticized NBC and their journalistic standards, worse than even CNN. Look at their license." Ronan Farrow, a reporter, had said NBC News blocked him from working on a story about Weinstein, who is facing criminal rape and sexual assault charges and a civil lawsuit for sex trafficking. A former NBC producer corroborated Farrow's allegations. Farrow later published a story in the New Yorker magazine. NBC has defended its handling of the story. Trump blasted NBC and other TV networks last October, calling their news fake and suggesting he would challenge their licenses. The FCC did not immediately comment on the tweet, but in October, the FCC's chairman said the agency does not have authority to revoke broadcast licenses over editorial decisions. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After years of weekly meetings with his psychologist, local man Chris Vaughn told reporters today he was excited to only have 2 sessions left before completely resolving all of his emotional issues and never having the need to return to another therapy session again.
When I started therapy, I knew if I could make it through exactly 120
50-minute sessions with Dr. Warner, then all of my issues with depression and crippling anxiety would be gone. Next week we're covering my parents. The week after that we're wrapping up my trust issues, and then I should be good to go.
According to Vaughn, it took 40 sessions alone to fully resolve his feelings of inadequacy and low self-esteem resulting from an unhappy childhood. Vaughn's therapist, Dr. Susan Warner, told Onion reporters that she's pleased with her patient's progress and relieved that his long-time emotional and cognitive issues are nearly solved for good.
I told him that getting healthy would take at least 100 hours of therapy, and now he'll never have to see me again. Thank God for that. That guy was a real piece of work.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
Yeah! No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear. Declare your independence from me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedom's Phoenix.com. James Corbett, the Corbett Report. All right, this last one. All right, let's go and do the bio real quick. The Corbett Report is edited, webmasters written, produced, and hosted by Mr. James Corbett. James Corbett's been living and working in Japan since 2004. He started the Corbett Report website in 2007 as an outlet for independent critical analyses of like everything. And what happens is you have the Corbetteers that they're helping him. You know, James, you should be looking at this, of which we're one of those. I'm like, James, when are you going to do something on this great, most wonderful, important thing? And he's either right on it or he'll get to it. So this is the latest one that he had. I mentioned to him, and he goes, yep, that's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to talk about. His latest, the secret lie that started the Afghan war. How did the war in Afghanistan start? And how did NATO become involved in this conflict? These details are never discussed because they have, for nearly 2 decades, been hidden behind a shroud of secrecy. But now, after nearly 2 decades of lies, America's longest freaking war, the remarkable truth about the secret documents that helped launch the Afghan war can finally be revealed. This is the story of the secret lie that started the Afghan war. Now, when we first started, it was our first Freedom Summit that we had, featured Bumper Hornberger. We had Bob Levy. Had Don Brudeau, Vince Suprenowitz, L. Neil Smith, Butler Schaefer. It was a great lineup. Jacob Hornberger, and we were just like, it's 3 weeks after 9/11. We almost canceled it. They were canceling flights and all kinds of stuff, but we negotiated a good deal with the hotel. Okay, we'll keep doing it if you discount this, that, and we got for like 3-4 years, we got discounts because of 9/11. The hotel industry, in 5 minutes, jacked up a bunch of stuff. So, man, we got us some deals. Well, what happened was, as we were doing this, that Sunday, Butler Schaefer came down from the hotel room. We started the Sunday program, and he goes, they just started bombing Afghanistan. And we all sat there and we go, yep, and we know what's going to happen. They got all this anti-terrorist legislation that we couldn't pass in the 90s and stuff and during the Clinton, and here comes baby Bush, and what? We going to be passing us some legislation. The Patriot Act, they just took it and went and blew off the dust, and that's what came in the law after all this anti-terror crap that they were trying during the Clinton. So as libertarians, back before liberal what? I mean, nobody understood what was going on. We knew exactly what was coming. Here comes the police state. Well, are we there yet? Can we hurry up and get there so we can leave? Well, we're kind of there, so can we leave now? This is so much stuff, and who has been walking us through this? New, fresh eyes, starts with 9/11 stuff in it, Mr. James Corbett. So now, after all this time has gone by, Afghanistan, after all this time has gone by, let's discover the big lie. I think, see, it's bumper sticker stuff. Bumper sticker stuff. All right, James, go, man. Tell me every little old thing.
Actually, let's just underline that point you just made, because everyone knows the Patriot Act was already written and on the shelf and ready to go. They didn't write that 1,000-page document, and in the couple weeks after 9/11, obviously, it was already ready to go. And that's not, wild-eyed, crazy conspiracy theory. Joe Biden himself bragged, yeah, I basically wrote what became the Patriot Act back in the 90s. We were going to pass it after the Oklahoma City bombing, but it didn't quite work out, so 9/11. I mean, that's literally how this works. And again, everyone kind of knows that, but it's interesting when they just up and brag about it. Yeah, of course I wrote the Patriot Act. Anyway, so we arrive at the war in Afghanistan, 9/11. Obviously, I mean, we all know the story. Osama bin Laden directed 9/11 from his cave fortress in Afghanistan, and that's how we got the war in Afghanistan. And yeah, now it's 17 years later, Osama bin Laden, the character has been retired, shall we say. Al-Qaeda is not really the boogeyman du jour anymore. It's not about them. Now there's some kind of non-combat operation, something to do with the Taliban, and they're still killing people. I don't know what it's about, but we're there, right? That's kind of the status for a lot of people. How did we get here? And that's a specific question with a specific answer. And most people don't know that answer. Most people don't even know the right question to ask when it comes to this. Because how did NATO get involved in this? This isn't just something that automatically happened. It's not like NATO just declared war or something. There was a specific process that the U.S. had to go through to get NATO on board with the war on terror generally and the war in Afghanistan in particular. And Ernie, I'm sure you know, but maybe some of your listeners don't know. Specifically, this revolves around Article 5 of the Washington Treaty. Which
now
is
Washington Treaty, you call it that a lot, but that's the North American Treaty Organization. Why is that the same thing?
The North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
I'm sorry,
it is the founding document of NATO.
Well, why do they call it the Washington? Was it done in Washington or something?
It was done in Washington, so it's the informal name. I believe the informal name is the North Atlantic Treaty. I got to look it up.
Right,
I got to bring up my script here.
North Atlantic.
Anyway, it's called the Washington Treaty informally, and it is a document. I forget how many articles there are in the document, but it's the treaty that lays out the obligations that anyone who signs up to NATO will have to the other NATO members. I mean, this is a treaty organization. All it is a bunch of countries that got together and say, let's form a collective defense pact. Right?
You attack one of us, you attack all of us.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So that is Article 5 of the Washington Treaty. An attack against one will be treated as an attack against all, which is a pretty basic part of any collective security treaty, right?
Yeah,
right.
That's dangerous, man. There's always...
It's exceptionally dangerous, especially because now that we're in this era where Turkey is, of course, in NATO, and they're right there on the border with Syria funding, the jihadis trying to overthrow Assad. For a long time there was that tension where there was some bombings that were happening in Turkey, and all Turkey would have to say is, hey, look, guys, we're being attacked by the Syrians, and this is right on our border. Well, it's an attack against us. It's an attack against all. If they had invoked Article 5, NATO would be in Syria right now. So it is exceptionally dangerous.
Okay, no, wait. I want to ask one thing. As I remember, when they were doing Afghanistan operations and so on, and certainly with Iraq, there was like a payoff, or even an offer of like billions of dollars or something if Turkey would allow us to use their airfields to launch from, or something, and they weren't cooperating. Turkey has been dragging its feet on this Afghanistan thing since the beginning, haven't they?
Turkey has always had an interesting place in NATO, and as people might remember, it was just a couple of years ago with all that crazy destabilization and kind of the coup against Erdogan and all that was going on. And oh yeah, as it turns out, most people probably don't know, but yeah, we store nukes in Turkey. U.S. nukes, part of NATO, part of the NATO defense against the Ruskies, right, from Cold War holdover. That's still there, and they still have nukes at the bases there. And oh yeah, one of the bases got taken over momentarily, but don't worry, guys, we got it back, so it's okay. Yeah, Turkey has always been an awkward part.
You know what? You think that the U.S. they got all motivated to help with the hell no, you're not allowed to take over that base. We got involved in that, didn't we?
Yeah, there was some security that went on, and I'm pretty sure they moved a lot of the nukes.
Yeah, it's like being